Hey, we're live. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging, Genlab Alpha / mutantyearzero style, where we're going to be continuing our campaign tonight. We're on episode 11 already. 11. That's like, this is, by the end of tonight, that's like 22 hours or so of the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's one more than 10. 11 are my
It's 22 hours, though. I don't.
That's two more.
You were saying
20.
it's episode 11. It's one more than 10.
It's true. Episode 1 was our session 0, so this is our 10th like play session, and so stuff has happened. No one's died yet, but we are on the verge potentially of having our first character death, or several, which is certainly possible. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so let's refresh our memories because we haven't played in a couple of weeks. So usually I write up these little summaries. So here's what happened. If you're unfamiliar, if any of you have forgotten because it's been so long, you all have been sent by Truffaut to the Badger habitat to do some reconnaissance. That's the specific operation that you all chose to do here. And the reason is that Chelios, who is a newly appointed elder on the Elder Assembly within the Badger habitat, there are suspicions between Hamill and Cujo that he might be an informant for the Watchers. And even though the resistance is not like outwardly accepted, and even though most animals, especially of an older age within the valley, still revere the robotic Watchers, like do what they say, etc., etc., there is like this younger generation that wants to resist, and then there's like this other, like those that can be convinced that know that we don't really like the Watchers, we don't really like the resistance, we're kind of in between. So if he was actually outed as being complicit in helping the Watchers, that'd be a pretty terrible thing. So you all came here, that was your job, and you talked with a few others, specifically Cujo, who's not here with us. He's hopefully Logan will be here later, but when you came, you talked to Gretzky, which is one of Cujo's mentors, who advised you that before you try to accuse him of anything, before you try to accuse an elder of being a conspirator, you need to find some hard evidence of this. So just suspicions is not enough. That could be bad for you. So he suggested this. So Hamill had the idea of speaking with Wiley, one of her friends. Wiley 92 is this young small weasel that she has said that she's going to protect. So that sucks for him.
I'm trying.
Yeah, and so you all went looking for him, but he had already left. Apparently, Chelios's pack had gone out on a hunt, and Wiley has been like fanboying them a little bit, and so he's been following around. So the presumption was that he might have followed them. So you all left the Badger habitat. You went north. You went through the moors. You encountered a couple folks along the way. There was Viberg, who was like the weird Martin Seer, young Seer, who saw a vision of Wiley being messed with by some sort of weird-looking Watcher, some robotic Watcher. Then that caused you guys to go even further. You guys fell into a sinkhole, found a couple things, ran to another. I think, I can't remember, it was a Weasel, who was a beekeeper. And you were kind of attacked by drones. Drones have been flying overhead like crazy. It's almost like the GM assigned like drones here as like aerial reconnaissance for his operation. It's weird how that happened. You all continue to head north until you found an inner fence that was going to go towards the cat tribe, because the suspicion is maybe Chelios is hunting within this forest that's north of it. You guys burrowed underneath. When you burrowed underneath, you were noticed by some drones. You got into a fight with these drones. You kicked those drones' ass. However, they did call for Sentinel reinforcements, and that's where things went bad.
Backup arrived.
The Sentinels showed up relatively quickly and proceeded to just scatter you guys and sort of slaughter you guys. Hamill went crazy, or feral, we should say, and she was forced to fight anything that might have been trying to prevent her from running away. And since you guys were in combat with Sentinels, she was fighting a Sentinel. And that did not go well for her. Tchaikovsky and Cujo concocted a plan where they were going to use a lasso and lasso her off the Sentinel and pull her to safety, which amazingly actually worked. But in the process of doing this, Cujo got caught up in a fight with some of these sentinels. He got his ass kicked, and then he got captured. Hamill was dragged into this burrow, along with Tchaikovsky, who himself got, I think you got kind of roughed up a little bit too. Tchaikovsky, Helena, McCloud, and Hamill, who is feral, by the way. She's bound, so she's not running away. And she was deadly injured. Whereas, like, if she would have died if you guys hadn't done that before they even had a chance to do anything. The Sentinels had a chance to do anything to her. So you guys hung out in this burrow while the Sentinels drove away with Cujo in tow. Shortly after you heard the sounds of the treads leaving, you peeked up, you took a look, you saw they were gone. Tracks were super easy to follow. Hamill is completely useless to you. She is writhing around in feral agony inside of this burrow. We looked it up to make sure that everything was legit. The heal check works so that she doesn't die. However, she can't be healed of her feral nature for a couple of hours. It's part of the effect. So she's still under the feral effect for at least a few hours. The three of you tracked the Sentinels about not quite a half an hour to the northeast, and you saw them pull up to the Western Forbidden Zone. This is not a good place. This is a place where every single animal in the entire valley, including yourselves, know this is a no-go zone. This is incredibly dangerous. This is completely off limits, whether you're a resistance member or whether you're a person who loves the Watchers. This is a strange and spooky and dangerous place. And you saw as out in front of this large yellow and black striped gate, you see a couple piles of things. You see that the Sentinels that were carrying Cujo drop him off, and there's a pile of about half a dozen animal mutants, all bound, and some are moving, some aren't. You see a pile of artifacts or something, or some kind of rubbish or materials, probably things that they confiscated at checkpoints, you would imagine. And you find yourselves about 50 to 75 yards away or so, on a hill, hiding, the three of you, keeping yourselves low. You see drones flying in and out periodically. You see this after the Sentinels dropped off Cujo, they drove away as if they had something, they were called off to do something else. There are these two towers that stand on either side of that red and yellow, or excuse me, that yellow and black gate, overlooking the gate itself and the area where the two piles, which are only a few yards away from the door. And then there's a gate or a wall that kind of extends off to the east and to the northeast, off to the west, to the northeast and the northwest, and up the slope of the mountain. So, any questions on that?
Cujo's not visible in the pile.
I'll say Cujo is visible. You saw him kind of get dumped down. So he's there, but he is broken and kind of unable to do anything himself. He is also in a state of unawares.
So I could always try scavenging a fishing pole and trying to fish him out of the pile of corpses.
You certainly could, but he's between 50 and 75 yards away from you. There is a decent chunk of flat and empty barren land between the hill that you all have hidden on top of underneath some shrubs and where the actual piles are. So there's like a whole empty run of space that you would have to close the distance on before you can do the whole fishing pole thing. But I'm all for the fishing pole thing.
What about a harpoon gun instead of a fishing pole?
If you wanna skewer him, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
There is a side effect of that. We would get him back.
You know.
Oh, we've got a healer. Would a
That would be the
harpoon
moment I
gun
crit fail.
would a harpoon gun require me to go out into the open like a fishing pole would?
I think either one would, because they're just so far away.
Mm-hmm.
I think no matter what you do, it's so far
Would a
away.
fishing?
That's weird.
I guess then it would just be semantics. I'm assuming both would use the shoot skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just try to scavenge and see if I even get anything. So let me
Okay.
roll that.
If only Cujo were in our party and he could burrow underground and get into that pile.
I mean, If only we had. Is that an animal power?
I'll push it.
Somebody could have got.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, Melissa.
I'm feral.
Okay, I don't find anything. Who's really good at sneaking? Someone could just sneak up and take them.
Okay. Did you not hear the part where we talked about there's 2 towers with gun turrets?
Mm-hmm.
I can't scavenge, so I'm out. I gave it 2 solid attempts, and I got nothing. And I'm an old man.
So you see, when you look at the towers, you don't. There's like no one in there. Like you don't see any movement. But I would say, why don't the 3 of well, Ashley, why don't you just do this so we don't clog the system? Roll a no nature with let's say +2 modification. The dice looks crooked. What's going on with that dice?
Oh no, where am I?
Everything's so crooked.
Oh, I'm in the white corner. No nature. Fail.
Okay.
I can make an attempt if that's okay. I've got 2 in no nature and 3 in wits, so I can do 5.
Go ahead. +2 is fine.
Okay.
Man, okay.
So you would know a few things. The most common place where you find turrets like these is actually on the outer fence. And what happens along the outer fence is that whenever anyone tries to screw around at the outer fence, the turrets are kind of automated to some degree. You don't see these on the inner fences. The inner fences are usually just really high. Some of them are electrified, but not all of them. And some of them are kind of broken down. But these are similar. They're not as large, but you know that they're not like, there doesn't have to be a sentinel or a drone or any other kind of watcher inside, is that they often just kind of do things themselves. You would notice, however, I'll give you with the extra rolls, that they don't seem... The turrets that are on the outer walls periodically will move and shift as if they're following movement, as if there's like a bird flying by, or if there's just a random shambler or something like that that's near the gate. Like, they don't seem to reacting as quickly. So this might just mean that they're not as sensitive, or maybe they're deactivated.
I just looked through my gear, and I have an idea. So when we took out that drone, I got generic plating, and it's a heavy item. So what if somebody who's got good movement and agility just literally uses the generic plating as think of it like 300, where you just put your shield up above you or over you. So if you get shot at, it hits the plating, which hopefully can take the damage. But it's just going to have to be a literal like walk up and then just drag him back. I also have a blanket that we could use to like make it look like you're not a bird or like a person. If maybe you look just like trash, the turrets will ignore you. That's all my mind can cook up right now.
Oh, this is interesting. Like camouflage, sort of.
Yeah, I just hoping that like, you know, a big steel plate above your head with a blanket covering you doesn't draw the attention of the automated turrets. If they look for, you know, biological life forms, unless they have some kind of heat sensor, it might work.
Could we uproot some entire bushes?
Sure.
And then
You're like a wily coyote.
yeah,
Sure.
exactly. And then just like slowly just move forward and then plop down if it like looks at us and just chill there for a little bit.
If that's what you want to do, you could certainly try to do that.
Is there any way for us to know if they have heat cameras?
With 3, I would say the specificity of whether they have like thermal imaging.
I am a mechanic. I don't know if that helps the 3.
I don't even know if you all would know what thermal imaging is.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that might be pushing it a little too far.
Okay. That was more of like a Shmila concern.
I like the bush because I think we already knew that the drones recognized the blanket, or like the blanket didn't work earlier against the drones. Like the drones still.
I mean, that was a full stop. like they recognized us, and then we were like, let me just pull out my blanket. I am not here.
Yeah, there are a handful of shrubs and stuff like that, but not immediately in front of the gate. Like as you look off to the right and to the left, extending further away, you can see handfuls of shrubs right up against or near to the gate itself, or not the gate, the fences that extend outward, but nothing immediately and super close.
All right, I'm gonna go for it then. So I will take whatever blanket he's offering and try and go for the shrubs and dig them out.
Okay, so you're gonna run for a shrubbery. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if I get targeted at all.
Okay. Go ahead. Are you trying to do this quickly or are you trying to do this sneakily?
I'll do it slow until I'm in danger.
Okay, roll a sneak test.
And if anybody else wants to take this generic plating to give themselves some armor, that's also available.
Someone being Long, the one person that's going out and trying this.
I mean, I'm also down to try using a shrub. I just have no sneak at all.
All right, I got the 1 success.
So question.
Okay.
So the turret, can it shoot? Is there like a range where at the wall you're kind of safe? Like it can't shoot directly down?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. I would also point out, by the way, that those outer turrets are like one shot, one kill type of deals. Like they're super strong. So
yeah.
Okay, so we'll say, so you watch as McCloud scampers down the hill, blanket over top of him. He ducks down and dives beneath this shrubbery. You see a little shift of attention of the turret as it kind of moves, but as he stops, it also seems to stop. Like there's a delay, and you can see him. He starts to dig out the shrubbery a little bit. You're a little bit closer. Probably ran about 15 or snuck about 15 yards down the hill. I'll put you at around 30 yards away from the pile of like, you're not really sure, like just confiscated items from different checkpoints, and a little bit further than that from the pile of bodies. This was the closest shrubbery to you. While you're here, you hear, McCloud, this sound, something metallic, and zzz, zzz, dum, zzz, dum, zzz, dum.
Is it nearby or?
It's coming from the other side of the fences. When you look, you see all sorts of peculiar shadows. It's hard to see because the fence itself is dark. There's vines and stuff growing over top of it. A lot of them have been burnt, it seems, suggesting that there is some sort of electrification that happens around here. But it's hard to make everything out. But whatever these shapes are, they're quite big and they're quite larger than you. But you hear zzz, dum, zzz, dum, and then while you're digging up, you hear a little alarm go off, like and one of the gates themselves begins to start zzz, like this low hum, and then eventually you can hear the grinding of machinery as the gates themselves start to open. And as they do, you can see this yellow flashing light that is suddenly cascading over the ground where the gates have opened. As the gates pull back even further, you can see that there are these little lamps on either sides on the inside, and they're like sirens in a way, showing this light. All of you can see in the middle of the gate this massive robot. It looks the size of like a camper, like a big old Winnebago. And you can see it has several legs, and when the legs start to move, they match the sounds that you were hearing, McCloud, like zzz, dum, zzz, dum. And it seems to be slowly moving out. Additionally, McCloud, you see something else. You see that there are much smaller individuals that seem to be moving out as well. There's about 4 of these strange looking creatures that are half animal, half robot that begin flooding out in kind of haphazard speed. Some of them are just moving in a very slow, shambling way. Others are like skittering really fast. You see a fairly tall looking moose that seems to be, its arms are like mechanic. So the arms are missing, and you can see 2 metal arms instead, and a third arm coming up out of their back. You can see a tiny little creature like a weasel that has all sorts of these like metallic wirings and cables coming up out of their back, and kind of connecting to the different limbs. And they're like super fast, super quick moving, but then they stop for like kind of moving around. And they have some strange device like hooked up to their ears, and it's kind of like going around in a circle, like zoom.
Would the weasel be familiar to any other weasel in the party?
There are no other weasels in the party. There's only the 3 of them that are watching this.
I'm just saying, generally.
I'm sorry you're not here.
Damn it.
Sorry, you're not here.
You are in a burrow.
But as you wait and watch, you can see that most of those creatures coming out begin spreading in different directions. The big Winnebago robot, and as you look, appears to have some guns and stuff attached to it, armaments here and there. Moves this whole time, and then just sort of settles a few yards away from the pile of animal mutants, and you hear like the pneumatic exhalation, like, and then the gates begin to close as about 5 or 6 different of these creatures. Go ahead, whoever wants to roll a no nature with +1 to try to identify the smaller ones. Anyone who wants to try to identify the bigger thing, it's a -2. So let me know which one you're doing.
I don't have any no nature.
You can still roll it.
Just do the smaller ones for +1.
Okay, so the smaller ones are different kinds of abominations. You know that whenever certain animals are taken, unfortunately, when they come back, they don't always look the same. Sometimes they have no memories. Many times they've been experimented upon. Limbs and other parts of their bodies have been replaced by machinery. And these are just the latest versions. Often they just wander around and they're exiled. Whenever they're brought back to habitats or outposts, they're kind of shunned, and it just doesn't work out right. And so they usually tend to live in some sort of exile, just wandering around until they no longer work anymore. It's very.
They're not like hostile or mind controlled or anything.
That varies. That definitely varies. Some of them are, some of them aren't. They can be very erratic, but they don't notice McCloud as they walk past them. Others are going off in a different direction. You see some kind of heading southwesternly, some heading southeasternly. None of those abominations are lingering. Is anybody rolling to identify the other thing? The big old Winnebago. This is when I tell you that it is, in fact, a Winnebago.
I made a roll against the smaller ones and I failed.
Okay.
Can I roll again if I already rolled?
Yeah, it's something else. It's like you rolled for. So it's a -2 modification. So just make sure you take 2 dice away.
Sure, I'll try.
So they're separate rolls because they're separate mods, separate things. All right.
Didn't get it.
Is anybody looking to push? Okay. It's safe to assume you have never seen something so large and something in such shape. This is bigger than Sentinels. Sentinels are very big. Sentinels are like, cars, like big old, like almost the size of a car, I would say, or a small car, like a Geo Metro or something like that. This thing is much bigger. And this thing seems to be sturdier. What's everybody doing?
Planted itself right outside.
Yeah, you see it like you can hear from your distance because you're closer that something's going on inside of it. Like you hear machinery continuing to move as if something is happening. Like you're hearing like pneumatics, like as it's kind of trying to do something. and it's about 50 yards from you on the other side of the bodies. So the bodies from you are about 40 yards away, 45, and then on the opposite side of that, you can see this big old Winnebago has come out and sat down within a stone's throw of them.
I wonder since the turrets don't seem to care about the abominations, I wonder if there's a way to try and convince one to get Cujo for us. I don't know if that's a better strategy than trying to run up to Cujo ourselves, but with this behemoth sitting near the same area, I don't know. I'm just talking out loud, I guess. Thinking out loud, I guess.
The two abominations that went southeasternly, sort of in your direction-ish, and they are still within sight. One is the big moose with all the mechanical arms, and one is the tiny weasel with the weird wires coming out of its back.
Does anyone have skills in like sense of motion or maybe even dominate to try and talk with the moose? If we let him get out of range of the turrets and then back up and follow him?
Our dominate dude is currently incapacitated in that pile.
I have sense of motion, but I don't know if it helps. Or just like
I always forget. I think yeah.
I mean, in that kind of thing, trying to convince someone to do something like that sounds more like a dominate check to me.
You would know with your no knowledge, since you succeeded on the no knowledge for abominations, that trying to dominate them, it just doesn't like this. It's like they're who whatever it was made of them in terms of their emotions and their intellect has often been wiped or altered in some way. So trying to communicate or interact with them using the same methods that you would a normal animal mutant probably won't work. Doesn't mean it's impossible to communicate with them, but like the same sense of dominating, and that's unlikely.
So like it's easier because you could just be like, hey, can you do this? And they might say yes. Like you don't actually have to like dominate them to get them to do it.
To me, it sounds more like it's just not a good idea to even try.
So while you're hiding and finish digging up the shrubbery, you hear another tss, and a door opens up on the side of this giant Winnebago robot, like just opens up vertically, and you can see all sorts of like steam, just air, pneumatics kick out in different directions. You can see all sorts of blinking lights coming from different places. It's kind of got a hollow, it's like hollow on the inside. And then you hear, and you can see another robot. This one, two legs, two arms, very strange looking. In fact, one hand seems to be like it's all mechanical. And they're tall, kind of slender. You can see wires and whatnot. They have this almost like a capsule, like half of a Tylenol capsule on top of their head, with kind of a flickering bluish light. From the distance, you can't quite make out what it is. You're not close enough. But you see them come out, and they move up to the pile of bodies. And with one of their arms, they kind of hold down, and they're like, you can see that they're like they're scanning. And then they reach down and they pick up a creature. And you can see it's not Cujo. It does appear to be a weasel, small weasel. When they go ahead and they start kind of carrying them by the scruff of their neck, the weasel seems to be conscious and is like reaching back and like swatting and screaming, "Help! Help! Help! Help!" And the robot seems to pay no mind, goes back inside this large Winnebago, and then you hear as the door closes behind them. But that's all you see. The Winnebago doesn't move.
Oh. Maybe when I finish digging up, I'll try and get closer.
Okay. Are you looking to sneak, or are you looking to move quickly?
Good old sneak. That's what I got these bushes for.
Okay. Roll a sneak. I'll give you +1 mod for having a blanket in a bush. I don't really understand how that actually helps, but all right.
3 of them.
Very nice. You can close the distance all the way up to the pile of machinery and artifacts and gear. You can see weapons. You can see helmets, some broken, some intact. There's lots of stuff in here. But as you move closer, moving with your stupid shrubbery, you get up right next to it. And it doesn't seem as though either of the towers seems to have noticed your movement. But you're right there. You're about 50 yards away from the hill on which your allies currently stand or are hidden. Helena and Tchaikovsky, as you're on that hill, hiding underneath whatever you can hide, you can see that drones are flying overhead. Some fly in, some fly out. It's a fairly common practice. It's like O'Hare Airport over here. But you can see where he is. And he is right up against the pile, still probably about 20 yards away from where and this is the last bit of movement that's going to be the most dangerous because it's right in front of the gate, clear as day. There's a good 20 yards in between these two piles. And then obviously the Winnebago on the other side. What are you guys doing?
What's in this pile I came up against?
Bunch of rubbish. You can see there's some weapons, there's some armor, there's some items. It looks like stuff that was probably confiscated at a checkpoint. Often watchers will confiscate your stuff at a checkpoint.
Oh, let's see if there's anything worth grabbing.
Okay. You can go ahead and roll. You don't have scavenge, so if you want to just sort of actually no, I'll just give you a few things. So when you look inside, you notice two things of particular interest. You see a lot of stuff that you would normally see, weapons. You see clubs and nothing that you can find elsewhere. But two things kind of stand out to you that are kind of interesting. One looks to be this large, heavy, shiny piece of metal with a weird head open, like an open mouth on one side and like a metal circle on the other side. You also notice a I don't think I gave you guys this already. Hopefully I didn't. That would suck if I did. What did I give you in the I gave you a flashlight, right? And the
flashlight and batteries.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I pulled out the right stuff. You also notice there is this black kind of greenish black coloring, almost like two tubes, like on either side, kind of a smaller tube in the middle, connected to a broken strap. And they have like little glass on either sides. When you hold them up, all of a sudden, everything that was right next to you is like super close to you. So you would have to roll comprehend to be able to identify these, but you can do that.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll
comprehend's pretty bad, but here we go.
Go for it. We'll say this is for the first one. Okay.
Oh, I got it.
All right. This is a wrench. So it's a heavy metal tool from the old age. It's a little rusted, but it's worth its weight in gold for mechanics and such. It's also very useful for bludgeoning, so you can use a weapon. This has a gear bonus of +3 whenever you're doing jury rig, but for us, that's going to be, we're going to modify it and make it for mechanics. But it's also got +2 to the fight skill and with a weapon damage of 1. So you can literally hit people with it. So if you gave this to like Tchaikovsky, he could use it to help him when he's trying to repair things. But it also can be used as a weapon.
Nice.
You want to roll the other one? Actually, I'll if you want, I can roll over the extra success so you know what both of them are. Let me do that.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. So the other one are binoculars. It's a strange metal object made of 2 connected tubes with pieces of glass inside. And if you look through the tubes, everything around you looks much bigger. It's useful for watching enemies at a distance. You get a gear bonus of +3 to scout, and it's a light item.
Very cool.
Nice.
There's other things in here, but there's nothing that you would probably want to risk your neck for at this point. Like it's just a bunch of, oh look, hey look, it's another golf club. Oh hey look, it's another club with a nail in it or stuff like that. It's just like there's only so much you can grab.
I'm gonna test these binoculars and start looking around with them.
Okay, where do you want to look?
I guess near the towers and the other piles.
Okay. Roll a scout test. +3. Okay. As long as you don't push, it won't damage it, so you're good. All right, so if you're looking around, you can see a few things. In the pile across the way, about 20 yards from you, you get a really, really good look at who's left in it. You can see that there is a rat. You can see that there is like a hamster. Or it's not so much a rat, more like a hamster. You can see that there's a cat. You can see that there's Cujo, and you can see that there is a toad. When you look up at the towers, you can see inside a broken window, there's all sorts of different panels, and some of them have lights similar to what you saw when the door opened up on the large robot out here. You don't see anyone inside of it. And occasionally some of those panels start to like spark, as if you can see like they're malfunctioning in a way, like they're not quite functioning properly. You can see it in both of them. You would imagine if they were functioning properly, you would probably be dead right now.
All right. Now I have a weird feeling that when I walk up to this body of piles, they're gonna notice me and like ask for help, and it's gonna be weird.
It's certainly possible. Some of them do seem to be conscious and wriggling, and they're trying to like open up or like break their manacles things. But they have like, it's like metallic twine, and so
if you could get them to all run though,
they're bound on the legs and the arms. They have twine around their ankles. They have twine around their wrists.
What kind of so twine binding?
It's like metallic. So you could probably cut through it, but if you have to have something bladed, and it'd probably take a little time. It's not just like going up to a little tiny string, just hacking it.
Yeah.
You have to really grind into it, and it would take some time.
Good thing you have a wrench that you can bop them over the head if they start making noise in there.
Take 3 points of corruption. Sorry, wrong game.
3 or 9.
Not like kill them.
She just like, suggested it. It's just, it's I'm thought policing this shit right here.
Just saying it's an option if they get noisy.
Okay. If you've just joined and you're wondering, Hamill actually isn't here. She's currently feral and insane and buried alive.
Yeah, she's just she's chilling by herself.
Yeah. You would be familiar with what they're wrapped up in because you saw it on Hamill before you left. It's like they immediately just wrapped her up, and so you saw the same thing. If you had bolt cutters, it would be fantastic. But you don't have bolt cutters.
Yeah, all I have is a machete. I don't know how helpful that would be.
Shimmy the bush back over to Tchaikovsky. Like, hey,
divine intervention.
Right?
We don't have any rules right now for bits. Any bits anyone gives us, I'm donating anyway. I don't want to take them today. So
totally fair.
Okay.
Okay, so where are you? You're not next to the pile.
He's next
still
to
at the junk pile.
Exactly.
So
20 yards away from Cujo.
Mm-hmm. And it is just
out.
open. Okay.
I'm frightened.
While you're panicking, you hear and the door opens up again on the Winnebago robot. And you can see the same strange figure steps out. And it's got that kind of lighted capsule head. And they're once again carrying the small weasel. And this time they just drop the weasel on the ground. However, you notice that the weasel now has a metallic ring around their neck that they're fidgeting with. You've seen these before. All of you would be familiar. This happens. Sometimes when abductions happen, sometimes you never see the people again. Sometimes you see them as abominations. Sometimes they are returned to you and they're ringed. And it's the specific purpose of why they do this is probably lost on you, but it's a way of kind of marking an abduction. Some try to remove, some of the resistance for sure will risk trying to remove the rings, but it's like a metallic ring. So this weasel drops on the ground and is shaking and scared, but no longer bound. And they're kind of looking up, and you hear a voice, McCloud. You're the only one close enough to hear this. You hear, "Go. You are free." And then the weasel kind of looks up, like kind of scared, uncertain, takes a couple steps backwards, and then turns and just runs. Helena, Tchaikovsky, you can see this. They just run southwesternly as fast as they can. They're a little west of you. If you wanted to catch them, you probably could. And then, let me roll to see who they take next. Then they walk up. This robot walks up again to the pile, and it will take. Hang on, who's number 4? It will take the rat. You see, it picks up the hamster. Just so you guys know, Cujo's 1. Takes the rat and goes inside, and you hear as the door closes once more.
Clock's ticking.
Remind me how Cujo got here.
You guys were, you weren't here. That's right. You guys got approached by drones. You guys got aggressive with the drones as you tried to hide, and that's suspicious behavior. So drones attacked at that point when they didn't follow orders. You guys killed the drones, but not before the drones were able to signal reinforcements. Sentinels came. You guys got into a fight with Sentinels, tried to run away. Hamill went feral, though, and started fighting the Sentinels because she was forced to at that point because they were interrupting her ability to flee. Then Tchaikovsky and Cujo concocted a plan to lasso her off of a Sentinel and drag her to safety. But in the process of doing so, Cujo got caught up in a fight, and then he got broken.
And then he tried to burrow away, didn't he? And then he went feral.
Yeah, I think he went feral,
broken.
and then he got broken at the same time. So he's Whereas the rest of them hid, including you. You were hiding like a wuss.
You were eating turkey legs.
Yeah, you were seeing things too. You're like, hey, I'm just so high right now.
Oh, we had you do everything. So many visions.
It was super useful too. It's totally different than. Don't forget, you have that scrying ability.
I do.
You can, and it's instant scry for you. So
yeah.
Okay.
This might be helpful there.
So while you're thinking, Helena, Tchaikovsky, you see this freed animal start running past you, probably 20 yards to the west, runs past the hill in which you two have been hiding, and continues running kind of southward.
Can I say that as he's running towards our hill, I go and I intercept him?
Absolutely. So you go ahead and you sprint off. Do you want to just move as fast as you can, or are you trying to be stealthy about it?
No, I'm just gonna cruise.
Okay. So you bust after him with your talents, your animal powers and stuff. You can easily catch him. I know that you have the extra speed.
Yeah.
You probably catch him about 100 yards south of the hill. So you've had a run to catch up with him. But eventually, and he's panicking, and when he looks behind and he sees this cat come prancing and chasing him, and but eventually you're able to kind of tackle him to the ground, and he's like, leave me alone.
And then she'll be like, calm down. What's your name?
Wiley.
And she'll nod and be like,
what's yours? Friendly.
Helena, my friend was looking for you. Hamill?
I don't know why I'm doing this still. It's fun. I know Hamill. Yeah. Get off. Roll a dominate check.
Okay.
What's your rank?
I'm 5.
Okay. +3 modification.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wiley's a runt, man. Poor kid.
Dominate. I never have to do this.
It's okay. It should be simple and easy.
Yeah, I need to move my token. I'm off in the corner. It's a pain. Okay. Boom. Pass.
Sense of motion, fail. So you're good. Okay. So so you try to explain you're a friend of Hamill's. He's calming down. You can see this metal ring around his neck. Already some sense of irritation. He's got some scrapes and such here and there. But he's like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Just come back with me to meet
I don't
up
want to
with
go back.
Hamill. We're not going to go back all the way. We're not going to go back the
Which
way.
way's
And then I'll check out your...
that-
And then she'll just be like, come with me. And she'll like hold out her hand, like very mom-like. Come on, let's go.
He grabs it and like clings to it. You can feel like his nails kind of digging into the palm. It probably hurts a bit.
Can I give him like a thing of rations?
Sure. Do you have any alcohol? Yeah, go ahead. Give him some rations. So,
Or do you have alcohol?
It's up to you. He's very, very young. If you feel like giving booze to a very young Weasel, you're welcome to do so.
No, I'll give him food.
Okay. So he just and then he vomits it all up because he's so panicked right now.
Yeah.
But and then he eats that too, and he's good. Okay. They're animals. Okay.
They do eat their vomit if you let them. So.
But you seem to. But he's panicking, and as he's walking with you, he's just freaking out. Like, what is this? Why is it all? Is my head going to explode? My head's going to explode? And he's just talking like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Do I know like about those?
So you know what I told you, but if you want, you can roll a no nature to see if there's anything else you want to learn about this. Let me see if there's any information I can give you before I actually give you that.
Okay.
But yeah, you can roll it if you want to start rolling it, and I'll see if there's anything else.
Push. And I pass. All right. That's with just 2
Well
dice.
done. Yeah, nicely done.
Okay, so it's a metal ring that's fastened around usually a limb or a neck. And when you're looking, it contains some sort of electronic equipment that and not most, I would say, because you're a resistance member, you probably know this. You probably learned this, is that it's a way for them to track people. The Watchers track the movements of individuals. You're not sure if it's like a listening device, but it's a way of keeping track of this particular creature. It's not a difficult thing to remove, but it would be something that the Watchers can detect if that is done. And they can detect it really quickly. Usually, most normal folks won't even attempt to remove it. They just live with it for whatever it is. And resistance members say F that, and they do it.
Okay.
Probably something you could take care of, but also not something I would say you would want to do.
I'm not going to do right there.
Now. Right.
Yeah.
Especially so close, because they'd be on you pretty quickly.
But Helena would mention that to him to try and help calm him down.
They know where I'm at. They know where I'm at. Why are we going back? They know where I'm at. They
did let you go though. But what were you doing when they snatched you?
I was watching Chelios. He was. Oh, that's right, Chelios. Oh God. Oh boy. Chelios.
What happened? What happened? Tell me.
And then he explains how he was following Chelios for a while, and occasionally, like the pack members would catch him, and they'd send him on an errand, like, "Oh, go fetch us this, go fetch us that," and he would. But one time, he came back a little bit quickly, and he noticed that they were like Chelios and his other pack members were kind of hanging around this one interior fence, and they just were just hanging out clear as day, which is not something that most mutants would do. Like if you're by a fence, you want to hide. You don't want to be so blatant, because that's where you're likely run into stuff. And some drones came down and sort of peacefully, and it seemed like somehow Chelios called them. And then moments later, a sentinel showed up, and it had like this big old crate it was dragging behind it, and like there's all sorts of killed animals that Chelios and the pack members just started loading up onto their cart, like to drag back. But he was hiding because he was curious and he was scared. But then he stepped on a twig, and then all of a sudden the Watchers and Chelios were on them, and he got taken.
Gotcha.
But it was like he claims that Chelios did it. Like there was something that Chelios did, like something in his hand that he was using, and it somehow brought the drones, and then like they were like communicating. Oh, I think we got Logan. Has entered the waiting room. All right, 1 second. This is probably gonna screw up our windows. So let me go ahead and let's take care of this, as our windows will be slightly screwed up, but we'll fix it. All right, looks like a couple of us are still okay, but I got to redo Derek's and
Hello.
All right, that's
Hello?
Derek. Hello. All right, give me 1 second as I get all your windows fixed. All right, Derek's good. Let me get Logan's all fixed up here. How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
They're still trying to save you. It's interesting. They found Wiley. All right. I think everyone is good now.
We just got the evidence we need if we can keep Wiley with us and bring him
You
back.
got a witness. You didn't get evidence, so Derek's is still kind of.
But we know what we need to look for.
Got to fix Derek's a little bit more.
Something in his hand that controls
Okay.
the drones.
Are you like leaning to one side of your table? Is that why I'm like so off center?
No, my web camera is just on my alternate monitor, which is angled.
All right, everyone should be good at this point. Okay, so thus far, McCloud has snuck up, and there's 2 piles out in front of the Western Forbidden Zone. One pile has animal mutants, including Cujo. One pile had some confiscated goods. Right now, he is kind of hiding underneath a blanket in an uprooted shrubbery, Looney Tunes style, by this pile of stuff. He actually rummaged through it and found a wrench and a pair of binoculars. There is a massively large robot that has come out of the Forbidden Zone and plopped itself down a few yards away from the group of mutants. And out of that particular robot, this massive robot, like the size of a Winnebago, another humanoid-shaped robot stepped out, dragged a small weasel inside, and for a few minutes seemed to have been experimenting with them. Let them out, and they ran away. Helena chased down that running away weasel and learned that it was Wiley, who has now been ringed, which means he could be tracked by the Watchers. And then the humanoid-looking robot picked up a hamster and brought it back inside, closing the door behind it. So Helena has just chased down Wiley. They're walking back. Tchaikovsky is up on a hill about 75 yards away, overlooking McCloud, trying to sneak closer and closer. Cujo is in there. Hamill's still feral and back in the burrow a ways away, but she's bound and not going anywhere. So, McCloud, what are we doing?
All right. First off, I want to see if there's like a small sharp object from this pile.
Sure, that's not a problem.
All right. I'm going to take it and then I'll do this mission. I got to save Cujo.
Okay. Are you moving quickly or are you moving stealthily?
This just determines what skill I'm rolling, right?
Exactly. One of them's a move to see how quickly you can get over there, and one of them's a sneak.
They're both the same for me. Let's do it fast this time.
Okay, you're just going to run.
Going all out.
Okay. Okay. So, Tchaikovsky, as you're watching, you see McCloud suddenly. Are you carrying the shrubbery and the blanket with you still?
No, I dumped it. It's not a stealth mission anymore.
You see him dump the stuff and just make a run. It's a 20-yard run, so it doesn't take that long. But he's just running, and you can see one of the automated turrets shifts, points down, and shoots right where he was. And you can see all of those confiscated artifacts and goods just explode. I would imagine a little part of you just sinks watching all those good artifacts and things that you could have scavenged just explode, raining down metal in all sorts of different directions. You can see the large robotic Winnebago one of its guns kind of shifts as well, but just before it does anything, you see McCloud just slide in, like he's sliding into third base into this grouping of animal mutants, and then the barrel doesn't fire, but it still remains pointed in the direction as opposed to be pointing forward. But you are now among the group, and there's like a toad that's like, help me, please, come on, man, help me.
I'll drop him the sharp object I found earlier. You can't help yourself, brother.
Oh, bless you. And he just starts, like in behind his back, just sort of like, and you can hear the metal on metal.
I'll start trying to get Cujo out of here.
Okay. So
can I do a quick scavenge for some sort of like flammable material and a rag to make a makeshift Molotov cocktail?
Go for it, man.
Diversion.
Okay.
You said there was it was to the west that there was like shrubbery and stuff.
Yeah, there's it's up against the fence. There's one or two here or there that's scattered, but for the most part, like between you and where he is, there's like dried grass and stuff, but there's not a ton of vegetation. It looks like it was intentionally cleaned out.
Yeah, I guess I'll just try and move in the direction of move in a direction that is away from Cujo and McCloud, and look for some shit to like start a fire to distract if need be when they. But I'm gonna watch them to see when the timing is right.
Oh yeah, goblins in like what, an hour and a half? What's up? I'm still working on mine, but I'm looking forward to that. You would probably, I would say, logically speaking, you would probably want to head to the west side, maybe to like the opposite side to get that Winnebago thing to focus in the opposite direction of where he's sending. But yeah, you can do that, sure. And I won't make you roll sneak because you're further enough away probably from the turret's range. Okay. So as you start moving in that direction, McCloud, are you trying to cut through Cujo's bindings, or are you trying to just drag him away? You would know that there is a barrel from that robot pointing in the direction of where you guys are.
How big was this pile of bodies?
Now there's 4 of you if you count yourselves, which makes the D4 I'm about to roll super easy.
Oh. I don't think Cujo can't move because he's broken anyways, right?
He's broken, yeah.
I have to drag him.
Did you go full feral, Logan? Do you remember? You're muted, I think. Actually, maybe not. I just couldn't hear you.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Okay. I know that you had an injury, but yours wasn't
not as severe
as Hamill's. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's broken. So
plus he's broken. I had broken toes, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So he's going to be especially difficult to drag away from here. And there's no way you're really going to be able to like stealthily drag him away.
Right.
And you got a barrel pointed right at where you guys are.
Chai, now is a great time for that diversion.
I'm going to say, yeah.
And
I'm going to say,
once I see Cujo get like cut free, or if I see him start dragging Cujo, I'm just going to hurl that thing and try and make it. Yeah.
Haven't noticed that yet. But you do see the door open up from the big old Winnebago thing. And you can see the hamster being carried by a humanoid robotic who drops it on the ground. And same thing you hear before. You are free, mutant. Run, frolic, be merry. And the hamster runs off.
Just crying.
Just goes like freaking out. And then 1 is Cujo.
Oh, God. Okay.
2 is McCloud.
Oh, no. Wait a second.
Maybe I'll throw the Molotov now if I'm in position.
Okay. So go ahead and throw. If you throw, this thing reaches down and is grabbing for Cujo. Go ahead and throw it. So you throw it, and it's relatively close to the actual giant Winnebago thing. Not close enough to hit it, but it explodes up against the fence. And you can see fire begin to just burst. The big old Winnebago suddenly shifts and turns. It's the barrels of its guns now pointing directly away from whatever this robotic creature is. Oh, thanks for the bits. And it begins to and it begins to sort of in the direction of the fire, which puts it about 50 yards away from that humanoid robotic who gets out, who had gotten out and is reaching down for Cujo, looks back at what's going on, and it's like, you know, a person who just got out of a car and someone's playing a joke on them and they're like accelerating away and like, just, halt, walk out. And then they turn around. You two are close enough, by the way, now to notice that in that capsule, it's like this blue, almost liquidy light. And you can see that there are eyes and a mouth and a nose. It's got this weird shape. You've probably seen pictures of humans before, the godly creatures that are humans. And it looks very much like it's trying to imitate that type of illustration. And then, and they're chasing after.
All right, it's my go time. I got to pull Cujo out here.
I'm running back to my wagon.
Okay, you're running. Okay. I need you to go ahead and you're going to make a move test, and you're going to do it with a -1 modification because you're trying to drag Cujo with you. Meanwhile, the toad and the cat are like, what about us? What about us?
The toad was cutting himself free. He's got his life.
All right, pushed it.
Okay, so take your 2 points of fatigue. What does that do to you?
Breaks
me
him.
at 2.
Put you at 2? Oh, okay, if it broke him.
No.
Oh God.
Okay, so
Pulled his back out.
as you're pulling and trying to drag him away, you can see the toad is doing the same thing, and it's like finally got through their legs and is just starting to run. And then the tower, Tchaikovsky, you can see this because they're not paying attention. It's just kind of looking around for a target. Let me see.
Yeah, these antimatter rifles.
Where the hell did my roll 20 go? There it is. Okay. So let's see who it attacks.
Long, did you just say it's McGo time?
Oh my goodness.
No.
What?
You see as a toad, Tchaikovsky, explodes. 1 and 2, I said, were Cujo and McCloud. And as this whatever gun thing, that whatever kind of like actual artillery this thing's firing, it shoots down at the ground and a crater is left, and there are toad parts all sorts of different directions.
Oh
McCloud, you managed to pull Cujo up the hill. And then you hear behind you as it kind of moves again, and then another firing, and that poor cat that was just sitting there explodes as well. Meanwhile, the fire is kind of still going on. The big Winnebago and the other creature are like kind of exchanging some sort of communication. The door to the Winnebago opens up again, and you can see the tall humanoid robot kind of hustle inside, and they begin to turn around very, very slowly, like, and then begin to slowly start moving in the direction of the hill, like, as it's building up speed. McCloud, I need you to go ahead and roll a sneak to try to hide you and Cujo. -1 modification as you try to find a hiding spot for you and Cujo as this thing comes running back into the direction.
Derek, do you have a second Molotov cocktail?
He only rolled a 1.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's all he needed. That's all I asked for.
Nice clutch.
My
That
heart
is
rate,
so
I
cool.
swear.
So this thing, and it's on top of the hill at this point, searching around. Tchaikovsky, luckily you're not here anymore because you had moved positions. Helena, you had chased down Wiley. McCloud, Cujo, you found the only other actual shrubbery in a 50-yard radius, and you have like burrowed beneath it as best you can, and you're just hearts beating, and you hear all sorts of strange sounds echoing off of this, almost like, and every time it moves, you can feel like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the impact tremor, like, because you're so close to it. But eventually, after a good 5 minutes of it just sort of looking on top of this hill as if it's scouting and not seeing anything in any directions, it slowly turns around and begins to You hear the alarm coming from the gates below again as the gates begin to once again open, and then the walker, or the big old walking thing, just closes inside. The gates close behind it. You take a deep breath. You see some drones fly overhead, but they don't seem to notice you. And now, what do you want to do? At this point, we'll say Helena and Wiley have come back. Tchaikovsky, you said you were going back to your wagon, right?
Yeah.
Which was over by the burrow, is that right? Or was it with you on the hill?
I brought it with me. That's how I was scavenging.
Okay. So we'll say at this point, the two of you are slowly encroaching. And when you get back, Helena, you probably didn't see all the explosions happening, but you see big old craters of explosions. You probably don't even see McCloud and Cujo right away. You don't see the large Winnebago creature anymore. Tchaikovsky, you get there first, and so you manage to track them down. But all of you together, there's still drones flying overhead when you kind of come together right now. Cujo has got a miles away look in his eyes. One of his feet looks just busted up to like shredded up. What do you guys want to do?
Attempt a heal test real quick before we go back to tree cover.
Do you want to do it here? It's somewhat in the open if you do it here.
No.
I want to get. We got to make a beeline toward the closest like tree line so that the drones can't see us.
Okay.
I take all of the artifacts that we have. Actually, I'm gonna make a quick scavenge check for some tape.
Go for it.
All right, I got some tape. I'm gonna take all the artifacts that we have that would get us like that would get confiscated or get us arrested, and tape them under the wagon. That's like the best hiding spot I can think of.
All right, so you start to move away. You're carrying Cujo. McCloud, make a move test as you're just kind of carrying and dragging him away.
Can we put him in the wagon?
You can try.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, you can try. All right. So don't worry about that move test then, as Cujo is uncomfortably thrown atop a wagon, a hoarder wagon.
I give him the worst smelling pillow to make him feel more comfortable. But I don't know what smells.
Eventually, you get back to the fence where the burrow was, where you know that Hamill is inside. You look inside the burrow. You once again see Hamill. She looks up at you, miles away, looking at almost rabid, kind of thrashing around. But you can see where her wrists and ankles have been covered in that metallic twine. Like she's just sort of cut into them from trying to struggle to get free. But she's still here. What do y'all want to do? You would know staying near a fence would be a bad idea.
Tchaikovsky's just clutching his chest like, we gotta get out of here. I'm gonna choke if we keep messing around with this stuff.
Let's do a quick heal test on Cujo.
Okay, go ahead.
So Helena, heal, boom, pass.
Is that for his broken toes?
That's for his broken toes, yeah.
Okay.
And then, is he still feral? Was he feral?
We don't recall. I know he was.
Let's just broken. So that's to get him for his toes, and now I have to do for the broken.
Yeah. Roll one more here. Check. And we'll say he's broken, and we'll say maybe he didn't go feral. I think maybe Hamill did. Okay.
2 steps or 1 step extra.
Yeah. So take 2 strength back, Cujo, as you're slowly kind of getting your wits again about you.
As I'm coming out of it a little bit, I'm just going to be like, is Hamill okay? Where's Hamill?
She's here. She's fine.
Yeah, she's taking a little feral nap in the barrel.
And then I'm just going to kind of like pass out again without really hearing your answer back onto the wagon.
Okay.
So I want to make a potion.
You probably need to move away from the fence.
Yeah.
You just spend a little time. Lingering at the fence any more than this is probably going to result in you guys getting into the same trouble you got into the first time.
I'll do a quick scry before we start heading up.
Okay. You hop up on top of something. Do your handstand.
My classic, my hat, and then my visions come to me. Okay. It'll be as we're wandering back through the forest or wherever. There's a random pack of cats or like scavenging cats out there that'll come to assist us.
Okay. All right.
Do you chant something while you're like on your like? Do you go like become another person, become in that like master of disguise style or what?
No, I'm not a weirdo.
I like to say, I think he starts humming like Toto Africa.
Ooh, okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right, so we need to make our way to the badger habitat, correct?
Yeah, which is south.
Mhm.
You're basically
South,
on the border between badger and cat, right?
Right. So then we'll
Let's-
just climb out the other side of the hole and immediately find like a secluded path to the badger tribe.
Okay.
Can I suggest for my feral not here-ness that somebody use the binoculars to look for drones?
Thought he
I'm
taped
sorry,
them to
I didn't even know
his
you were here,
wagon.
Melissa.
Yeah, I taped all the artifacts under the wagon in case a drone happens to come
Okay.
upon us and then checks us.
You guys know drones fly overhead. If you can't see them, you like the general rule of thumb is that there's usually drones in the sky. Sometimes there's more than normal, and that's when I, mechanically speaking, I pick the reconnaissance mission. I think it's recon mission.
Yeah.
And that means I'm sending aerial reconnaissance over a specific area. So that just happens to be what I picked for this mission, right? And so it's just drones lead to this. So you know that there's drones nearby. And the general rule of thumb is if you don't act suspicious, but who the hell knows what that means, the drones usually leave you alone. But every now and then it's super fickle and they kind of mess with you. But suspicious things are like, if you're hiding in a certain way, if you're running from them, or if you're trying to scale or go underneath a fence, all those things can potentially lead to an interaction with them. Not every interaction with them is terrible. Sometimes they're just like, they look and then they leave, but other times it could be awful.
Wait, so are we in like an area we're not supposed to be right now?
You are by a fence, like an inner fence that is the border between two habitats, border between the badger habitat and the cat habitat. One of the more dangerous places to linger is by a fence because you will often run into watchers there.
We know about that one guy with the honey with the bees.
Mm-hmm. Was his name Forsberg? What name did I give you for him? Melissa, you took notes, right? I think his name was Forsberg. It could be something else though. It could be Parsons, maybe Forsberg or Parsons, one of the two. That's back a little ways. You know that he was west of the moors. There was like a big isolated tree, and if you just went west, you might be able to find him. So
We might just want to head there and like camp out for the night.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. So somebody roll a scout check, and you can take if it's McCloud knows how to use the binoculars. Anybody else would have to roll a comprehend first, and I'll give you a +1 mod on that to be able to know how to use the binoculars. It's mechanically how this works when it comes to artifacts. So, but McCloud can do it right now with his +3 to scout, or he can give the binoculars to somebody else to roll the scout, but they would first have to comprehend how to use the binoculars.
Do you guys have more scout?
I have a 3 in comprehend, and I have a 5 in wits, although it's been taken down to a 2 due to all my failures.
I have a 0 in comprehend and a 0 in scout.
Mine's only 2, so
My wits is 2, and I don't have anything in scout, so you might as well just try it yourself. It gives you a +3 mod, so that'll put you at 5.
can I tell them like how it works?
I think the mod's +3. Okay, so the way comprehend works, when you're using comprehend to try to figure out how to use an item, an artifact, that kind of thing. If you roll 1 success, you know how to use it. If you roll an additional success, you can teach one more person how to use it. You roll 2 successes, but we just use both of them to give you credit for the 2 artifacts rather than re-rolling. So I would say anybody who wants to try to use it, you can get a +1 mod to.
It's a +3 for the item.
Yeah, I'll try and use comprehend on them.
Okay, go ahead, roll that. You can roll with +1 mod to figure out how to use it. You put it on the other way. Oh gosh, you put it on the other way, and I think you break it. Let's see.
I just put that gear dice in for the +1, so I didn't have to type it into the actual comprehend thing.
Okay. Well, it is a gear
because that was comprehend. Oh no, I was doing the comprehend to know how to use the binoculars. That's what I thought I was doing.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you. I understood. Sorry,
but I'm now broken.
Okay, you figured out how to use them, but in the process,
it blew your mind.
In the process, you poked yourself in the eye with them, and now you can't see. McCloud, just go ahead and roll a scout test. Right. +3.
Can I attempt to unbreak him?
Okay.
No, I can't see anything.
Unfortunately, you guys just can't seem to locate your friendly neighborhood beekeeper, but we'll say you do find another decently covered bit of ground that you could use as a campsite for the night.
Okay.
But can't find the guy to help you out, unfortunately. All right, so you camp for the night. If you want to do any heals, now's a good time. So if you're trying to heal someone's broken, we'll say at this point you can go ahead and roll your heal test on Hamill to try to get her back from feral. Because I would say a couple hours have passed now, so you should be able to do that.
I'm gonna push it.
All right, done.
Boom.
I drink extra water for agility.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, so whenever you want to gain agility back, you need basically 4 hours and water, and that's no problem right now. So
I'm going to need some water for the day as well.
Okay.
Me too.
All right. So mark off whatever it is that you need to mark off.
We're all
Does
going to
anybody
get
have extra
dehydrated.
water?
Huh?
Does anybody have any extra water?
I don't.
Can I
Oh, yeah.
forage? Because I'm completely out, but I need to be fixed or unbroken first.
I have 2 rations, so I'll just split them between the weasels
Okay.
or the badgers.
Okay.
I have extra food if anybody needs it.
You needed water, Derek. Is that right?
Yeah, and whatever. I think well, yeah. I mean, everything's broken on me. I'm down on everything.
Well, wits will come back just from resting for the night, all the way back up. Doubt you guys all would need to spend like a couple hours doing whatever animal thing that you need to do is, and then the other stuff is just food. So if you drink and eat over the night, you're fine.
Before I go to sleep, am I able to? I have 0 water, so am I able to like scavenge or forage or do anything for water?
Hamill, you're not broken anymore, right? You back?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Why don't you go ahead and roll your hunt test so that she can try to find you guys some water and food. That is literally her role, hunt.
Yeah, it's my job.
She sucks at it.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing, you know.
Want to push that?
She brings back sand.
All right.
And
Unfortunately,
you take a feral point whenever you push, right?
that's correct. So unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be a stream or a water source nearby.
If you don't take your daily rations of things like that, what
You
happens?
begin to dehydrate.
Or starve.
Hydrate specifically for water, but starve if it's food. Yeah.
Cool.
What do I need to mark for level 1 dehydration?
You cannot recover any type of trauma. If broken, you need to drink some water before you can get back on your feet. You suffer 1 point of damage and 1 point of fatigue per day without water.
Okay.
If broken by trauma of any type while dehydrated, you will die.
Okay, I just found it.
Yeah. As soon as you have 1 ration of water, you are no longer dehydrated and you can recover normally.
So morning will come, and those of you who are not dehydrated can go ahead and recover your confusion, all that kind of stuff. Hamill, if you want to try to do another scout in the morning to try to find something else, you can go ahead and do that.
I would like to
I'll let Wiley,
scout or hunt.
A hunt, excuse me. I'll let Wiley give you a modification, give you +1 to assist, as he'll come with you.
I added it as a gear.
And
base.
while they're hunting, I'm going to inform the rest of the group about everything that Wiley told me the day before.
Sure. Roll it.
What did Wiley tell you?
Basically that when he got taken or snatched by the walkers or whatever, he basically what you were correct. Like they were getting shipments, and he has like some sort of like remote or something that calls the watchers to him to bring him food.
Chelios doesn't know that Wiley knows this necessarily because Wiley was sort of hiding at the time. So Chelios might know, might not know that Wiley knows. But
Do we know why
would
Chelios
know.
has this remote? Or
No.
how? Okay.
But so all we have is a witness, and he's not necessarily the most credible witness to bring before the council.
What the fuck he's trying to say? What's that supposed to mean?
You're just young and you're cute, and she'll like scratch his ear if he's there.
She'd bite your
And
finger.
that's fine. And then but,
That's fine. I'm okay.
Yeah, it's just cat fingers. My little paw. I've got a nub now. But yeah, so we need if we really want to get him, we need that remote.
Okay. You're gonna give, I'm assuming, Tchaikovsky some the water that you found, Hamill.
Yeah, so I found 2 water. So
Okay. He would need it more than anyone, I think.
yeah, good.
Okay,
But just to confirm, I'm still at 0 wits because I was dehydrated overnight, correct?
that's correct. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Unless you take both of them.
No, the water won't help.
No, water doesn't restore wits.
Wits,
sleep.
Wits is literally 4 more. He would just basically need a rest for 4 more
yeah.
hours. So what you guys could do, but if you wanted to hurry back to the habitat, then it's your call.
Yeah, I'd rather just get to the habitat.
Okay.
You can sleep in your cart, and we'll just push you in your cart, and you'll just take a nap.
And let's roll your. Sorry, I'm just doing a little. I think I did this right. There we go. Perfect. Again, I figure I know how to do whisper rolls to myself now. The high rolls from you all.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's for like so I started making these like random encounter charts, so like it'll pop up. So
I kind of missed it because it would frighten me every time. You're just like, what is this dice?
I do
for?
like rolling
you
in front of you guys. I like rolling in front of you guys when I'm rolling to hit and stuff like that. That I like it because it's just honest and there's no reason not to. But I do like keeping things like certain rolls, like when you're doing sneak versus like their awareness. I don't want you to know their awareness. Like you shouldn't know. Like to me, it's like a surprise. There's certain things, but if it's just fighting, like I don't see why you can't see my stuff. So you start working your way back. You do in fact come across the beekeeper who has returned to his open field and is fixing a lot of his boxes. He waves to you all. Once again, thanks you for helping him the previous day. And did he reward you the other day? I can't remember.
No, I think we had to run.
He'll give you a jar of honey. And it's all chunky and stuff, which is the equivalent of, let's see, let me roll a little d6 here, 4 rations.
What did we hit him?
Chunky hunky.
What did we help him with? Or what did they help him?
He got shot by a drone that was up in a tree.
Oh.
You guys took care of the drone. And then more came, and he ran away, and you guys scattered. You pass by the Seer, who is, you can hear her humming and singing. And eventually, probably by about mid-afternoon, the sun's still decently high in the sky, not too close to evening yet. You make it back to the habitat. A couple Badger and Wolverine guards and stuff stop you along the way, but with seeing Logan or seeing Cujo and Hamill and Wiley, less of an issue. There is concern over Wiley's ring, but again, it's something people know about. But you can see that they start to avoid him, which is often what happens. They kind of start to avoid them, and it's not full on exile the way like a tainted animal is, but definitely people kind of start to keep away from you. When you get back, there's there's stuff going on. You can see that there's some kind of celebration or ceremony going on in the middle of the burrows, underneath the in the shadow of the 2 large buildings. To the west. It is a holiday that we're approaching called the Walk of Light, and it's something that Wiley has probably been chattering your ear off on the way back because it was something that he was supposed to take part in, something that young animals do. They just walk about the whole entire valley, just like they kind of go off and do their thing. It's a summer holiday as we're nearing the end of summer. But so people are kind of busy and moving about. When you ask about Chelios, you hear that Chelios he actually returned last evening, and a lot of fanfare about what a wonderful kill and hunt that he was on. There's going to be a big feast for the ceremony, and what better way to honor these young folks than by having such a huge and extravagant feast. What do y'all want to do here?
Copious amounts of eye rolling.
Your eyes fall out.
Is the festival happening now? Did you say?
Yeah, they're in everyone's kind of in the you see a bunch of young people of all, Martins and Weasels and Badgers and Wolverines are all kind of with their packs as they're getting ready to get sent off and start to do like their walk. And so there's just people who are kind of, it's a celebration. So like you see there's a bunch of people all over the place. It's super busy. Tons of people who don't normally live within the outpost are back just to sort of celebrate. And so people are eating, people are singing, people are laughing, etc.
Is Chelios out?
You can see him amongst the elder assembly who have. There's a kind of a nice long makeshift table and all sorts of little abandoned tires that they're sitting on as they sit at this little section, and all of the young folk come up and kind of get some sort of encouragement. There's like 20 people in the assembly, and he's the newest one. And then there's Iserman, who's the chief of the tribe, who's, specifically meeting and shaking hands and nuzzling or whatever the hell badgers do, with the various young folk who are coming, and they're wishing them well in their travels. So this will probably take a couple more hours, and before sunset, they're all these young people will quite literally leave.
Yeah.
It's a happy time, but it's also a nervous time as they're leaving, and do they come back?
Is around Chelios's rooms guarded?
So I would say Cujo and Hamill probably know about where he lives. He lives with his pack closer to to where some of the other elder assemblies live. In the burrows, he has a fairly nice place. There are plenty of people milling about, but it's not guarded. There's no one standing at the door or anything. But there is, it's a small hovel in the trenches of the Badger tribe. Gotcha. But you don't see anyone specifically guarding it, but you do see people milling about.
But there's a lot of people around. Mm-hmm. Do they disperse if Wiley comes around?
No, but they do give him kind of odd looks, and they don't engage with him. And he is super depressed about this, by the way. But they don't run away in fear or anything like that.
Okay.
Emma wants to try to see if she can get Wiley to be able to participate in the ceremony.
Okay. So if you approach Iserman, the plan was for Wiley to do it. And with the ring, when you speak to Iserman, he says it's probably a good idea that he leave anyway.
And Hamill kind of wants to be making a show because she's trying to kind of look out for Wiley and maybe try to show him that he's got an alternative other than Chelios and his crew. So kind of trying to make a show of having his back and advocating for him, and making sure that he gets to participate in this, and then it'll be a fun time for him.
Okay.
So being real thank you so much. I'm glad I was able to convince you to let him go, making it out like she really had something to do with this decision.
Even though he's he should actually probably
do. No, totally. But this is going to be all trying to convince Wiley that she's a friend.
What do you mean you were involved with letting him go? What did you do?
No. I'm glad that I had this conversation with you so that you would agree that he could go on this event.
He is young. Of course he would go. There is no convincing needed.
Good. It's great. I'm glad we're all in agreement. Wiley, let's get you ready and packed to go. You're going to miss out.
And when he walks away, you can overhear, she is just a very strange one. I worry about her. And it goes off.
Ever since her brother has left.
Right.
Ever since she got her brother killed. I just think she's gone downhill.
So make sure that Wiley's pack is fully stocked, and whatever he might need, in his bag. She's we'll get you everything you need.
I triple wash your underwear.
I want you to call me every day, okay? I don't care if I don't answer. Just call. It's all I want.
I just need to see it in my history so I know you're living.
What are we doing?
I talk to my mom like that.
Dude. My mother talks to me like that. Okay. All right. So you're giving him your rations. Is that what you're telling me? Your rations of water and food? You're just dumping it all into there. Is that what I heard correctly?
Whatever he needed to go. I don't know what
he needs. Rations. He needs food.
Food and water. Weapons. Clothing.
Exactly. He's going out into the dangerous wild. This is when young people become adults.
So, then yes, I think I had one remaining water ration on me.
Okay. So you give him one of those tiny little water bottles, and he's like, He's like, this is supposed to last me for how long?
Can I go scrounge up a couple more for him?
If you want,
from
sure.
somewhere?
Yeah, you can. If you want to go spend time hunting again, or yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's
isn't
fine.
it easier to get water?
Actually, yeah,
in
you're
town?
you're
we're
in town. You're in
so
town.
like I'm just
Okay.
doing some trades or whatever there. So
Sure.
like, I won't get anything extra. It'll just all go to him. So
Okay.
he's ready.
So
to
you
go.
go around and you collect some more for him. Yeah. No problem. Okay. And
Yeah, he's
he still
and he'll
seems
have a
super
nice-
down. He's just like, they're not gonna want me back. They're not even gonna want me back now.
But you know what? This is going to be, you've been looking forward to this. And, you know, maybe by the time you get back, you know, they'll be cool. They'll move on. And, you know, it won't be such a fresh thing for them that you've got this. And, you know,
I'm
we'll
not
see where
like
we're at
4,
then.
you know. I know this is like they don't like this. They're
maybe
not
I
gonna
don't-
suddenly change. I don't like this. No one likes this. This is bad. So,
But you know what? There are people like me and my friends that, you know, will accept you and it'll be okay.
Am I still allowed to like interact and do stuff even while
Do it.
broken?
okay. Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'll-
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like with my wits being at 0, I don't know if I'm even intelligible.
you can talk to people. You're not quite. Yeah, you're probably just a little. You're like out of sorts. You ever been like super dehydrated, like heat stroke type of thing? You're kind of like
I have not.
kind of just
Yes.
not quite there. It's not.
It's awful.
Um, So I guess Tchaikovsky then will just kind of like stumble up next to Hamill, and seeing Hamill worry over Wiley, he'll grab the ring, and I'll hold the wrench just to look more knowledgeable, and I'll grab the ring, and I'm like, look, kid, we can get this taken off of you. I probably wouldn't recommend right now because it'll cause a big problem, but you go on your journey, you learn a lot, you come back, you're a better person, and it won't be any trouble for me to remove this. I've tinkered with things all my life. This is easy to get off, but we have to do it somewhere safe.
And at that, he now, oh, well, that's great. Why didn't you say so? He looks over at him.
And
Why didn't
Helena
you
looks
just
at him.
tell me that? If you would have just said that, I would have felt better.
Helena just like rolls her eyes. I told you that when I got you.
I was very scared at the time. I just got brought inside of like some sort of thing, and then I got a thing on me, and then there were things shooting at us. It was crazy.
See, there are lots of people who care about you and will take care of you.
Yeah, these two. This one saved me. And then this one's gonna get the ring off. You gave me a tiny bottle of water. In the
I
scheme
gave
of
you
things,
5
you're like
tiny bottles of water.
you're
and
like
lots of
bronze
food.
medal, I think.
I went around and got lots of stuff for you. Can I try to pull anything out of Chai's?
That's stealing.
Can I try?
You're trying to
Chai
steal
will slap
something?
your hand with the wrench.
I'm trying to sacrifice something for.
Like your
Flip or fail.
friendship with Chai.
She just like
I'm gonna
jams
lose a
her
point
hand
here.
in, pulls out a dirty diaper, and says, what you need.
Do a sneak test to see if he notices.
Okay.
I'm pretty dehydrated. I think I won't notice.
Yeah.
In fact, when he points to me, I fall over.
Oh,
Like he helped me, I just fall.
Okay.
I passed.
All right. So you're able to grab something. What are you looking for?
Roll a D100.
Try make a scout test to see if you can see her sneaking into your
Yeah.
wagon.
I don't see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, you still have three chance through that. You can push if you want. If you come-
I don't have any. Wait, I shouldn't have. Oh no, wait. Oh, it's because I have the skill. I have a 0 in wits. I don't think I could use
Base.
it.
No, yeah,
it's-
you
it's-
guys
you got your base and then you got your skills. So like greener skill and other base.
Right, right,
broken
right.
in wits. So
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm looking
so
for something, you know, it could be like a Swiss Army knife. It could be like a sport, like something that would be like helpful.
The
for
best part is if you can't comprehend what it is, you have to just make up what it is, and that's what I'm hoping for right now.
you pull out something. It looks sharp. It looks metal. You think so?
it's a hanger.
It's one of those plastic cutleries you buy from like the dollar store. It just looks metal.
Yeah, you hand it over and you're like,
You get a
"Use
set of play
this."
school kid keys.
It's like a plastic putty knife that you get for free at like the painter's place at Lowe's. Like, here you go, use this to take down them bears.
You never know what you're gonna need when you're out there. So here, just I'm gonna like put it in like a little pack in a bag. Like,
can you roll a comprehend test, please?
Okay.
We'll treat it like let's just treat it like a knife. It's fine. All right. So
I want to have to describe it if it's wrong.
go for it.
Okay.
While this is going on, I want to go meet with Gretzky.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. Okay.
It's like the scene from The Little Mermaid where the seagull's like, it's a dingle hopper.
Yeah, and she's like, you use this to brush your hair.
You find Gretzky.
I'd like to tag along.
Okay, so Cujo and McCloud go see Gretzky. It's this again small shop. He's behind it. He's home. He doesn't seem to be good. He's coughing a lot. He's been fairly sick lately. But when he sees you coming, he's relieved to see you. But he says, "How did it go?"
I have some news for you, Elder. Our fears ended up being true. Little Wiley witnessed the sight of Chelios bargaining with the Watchers for food near the border of the cat tribe.
Oh no! Although we suspected, I was hoping we were just wrong. It's one thing to not want to actively fight against them. It's another thing to be complicit in their torture and capture of our family members. What evidence do you have other than the boy?
We have not much besides our own scars and wounds from being on that end, and the fact that Chelios brings back food week after week with no obvious signs of trauma to the animals. I don't know if the other elders will be on our side. You know them better than us.
If you make an accusation against him without something more than just one young person's testimony, I fear it will be you who suffers the bad fate, not Chelios. Iserman is a reasonable man, but you won't convince the Badgers, and you won't convince the Martins, while the Wolverines will likely side with you. The Weasels are erratic. They could side with anyone. But unless you have more obvious evidence, I worry what might happen to you.
He had a remote that he used to call forth the Watchers to bring him food.
Do you have it?
Have you heard or seen of anything like this?
No. There are plenty of devices. I've seen things that sometimes make sounds and sometimes they make lights, but sometimes they make what the humans call music, but I've never seen anything that would bring the Watchers. Why would somebody want to bring Watchers down upon us like that? I know they're revered by some, but they're very dangerous.
Chelios has great power over us. Until we can get this remote from him, I fear that we will be in very poor state among the other Badgers.
I agree. This is very concerning. What will you do?
We have no choice. We have to get this remote.
Be careful.
So I guess at that point we'll leave, and then I'll talk to McCloud and say we need to find a way to get this remote from Chelios. We don't have a choice.
Yes, while he's celebrating, maybe we can catch him later when he's exhausted.
While everyone's busy, we can check out his hole. I know where he lives. We can make a quick stop and search. You know, Badgers live in very tight spaces, so if it's in his hole, we'll be able to find it pretty quick. So from here, I guess me and McCloud will go to where he's sleeping or where he sleeps and see if it's, if anyone's around, we can do a quick 2-3 minute search.
So you head over there, and it's not in the main area. So like, it's not like wherever all the celebrations. So it's a little bit recessed. There are still people passing by, like drinking, shouting. If you continued past, like if you're kind of walking down a trench tunnel on your right, you can see kind of a heavy, almost like a furniture blanket, almost like it's kind of like a door blocking the path. And there's like another room similar to that. Somebody else lives. You see a handful of folks that are singing and drinking and dancing around this other tin drum that's got a fire in it. That it's about 20, 30 yards away from you and around a bend. No one has perfect sight of the door. As long as no one walks by in the hallway, you can probably sneak in without, assuming there's no one inside, without anyone seeing you.
I'll be the lookout.
Okay. I will just kind of walk nonchalantly up like it's my own place and just start to enter. I'll kind of like peek my head in real quick, not to like barge in, but just to do like a quick once over to see if anyone's inside.
Okay. You look inside. No, there's no one.
It's not painful. If there's not painfully obvious, then I'll just keep kind of heading inside, one kind of fluid motion.
So you go inside. When the flap closes behind you, there's no light coming in. This is all underground, an underground burrow. Do you have any kind of light source on you?
I do not.
Okay. Do you have anything, McCloud?
I don't have it on me, but the only thing I think of is the flashlight we found.
Okay.
Who had that then?
It's all Chai stuff.
Oh, of course. The guy who hoards everything and then burns it to the ground or gets it blown up by lasers.
So actually, it was stolen from me. I didn't burn to the ground. You're wrong.
Actually, you can't hear me right now because we're in a burrow. So yeah, I'm just gonna use my heightened animal senses and just kind of sniff around and feel around for any sort of
And by that, you're just flailing, touching everything.
Try not to cause a commotion. Just, searching around for any small metallic metal type objects.
So it's mostly dirt, and then eventually, like, your foot kicks what you assume is some kind of sleeping bag. You kind of bang your shin against something, and you put your foot down, and you almost feel like strangely enough, like grass, like plastic grass. You move off to the left a bit. You bump into when you reach down. It's kind of a cushy, springy thing that you might recognize as like a couch or a sofa. You're feeling over the surfaces of everything. You don't feel any small metallic object. Eventually you get to one wall and it's just dirt. And then you feel wood, like flattened wood, and like a handle, and you realize it's some sort of cabinet. You're able to open it up. You start feeling inside, and you can feel certain things like, oh, that's a knife, careful. And then you feel around, you can feel some kind of piece of cloth. And then you feel something very cold, but it's very big. When you put your hand against it, it's metal of some kind. You knock against it, and then you feel something else on the front. There's something that's loose, and then you hear it click, 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 click as you maneuver a little bit, and then your hand bumps something else, like a handle of some kind. And when you try to turn the handle and open whatever's inside of this cabinet, it doesn't move at all. It just won't open.
Okay.
And you keep pushing, and it just doesn't do anything.
I'm just going to make mental note of that, and then I'm going to quickly leave the habitat without taking. I'm going to try and, as well as I can, given how dark it is, just put everything back to where I assume it was.
Okay.
Close up, and then leave. Tell McCloud that, what I found might have been a lockbox of some sort that he may be storing something in. We need to find a way to either, it didn't seem too large. If we have enough manpower, we might be able to just pull it out ourselves and then maybe have Chai crack it. But for now, let's just, get out of here and regroup with the team and see what they want to do.
Okay. You guys are able to do that. You track everyone else down at the banquet. Still light out. Still, 4:00 in the afternoon or something. So, still plenty of joy and celebration going on. But you find them, and some people are probably eating, getting some rations.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm telling Chai and Hamill about this, because I think they're going to be kind of the key to getting this safe, or this lockbox that I may have found. If Cujo has something like this, he might not want to keep it on his person, just for the risk of being seen with an artifact like this in a crowd of badgers.
Chelios?
So, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, yourself. He's the traitor.
Now that everyone's back together, I'm going to take everything that's taped under the wagon and give it back to everybody since we're not in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So at this point, maybe we can scavenge for some sort of light source, set up a group of people so we can possibly set up a diversion if needed so we can get into Chelios's room and either pull the safe out of the wall and make a run for it, or maybe Chai has an opportunity to crack it while he's inside the room and see what's inside.
I'm probably going to be useless for this. I still have a 0 in wits, which is like the basis of all of my skills.
You gotta like sunbathe, I think, for that, right?
Wits is sleep. Yeah.
Well, I guess we're going to be pulling it out of the wall then. I do have a crowbar, and I have pretty decent strength and force skills. It didn't seem to be that big of a safe,
McCloud has his flashlight back, so you have your light source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
is anybody else going to be able to break it, or are we going to need to wait 4 hours for Chai to actually be able to?
My two thoughts were either have Chai possibly scavenge for, a stethoscope or something so he can crack the safe. He talked about how he was well versed in taking off these necklaces. Maybe he knows devices like this just in his passing, being an elder and having decent knowledge. My other thought was find this, the safe is most likely buried in dirt since our entire habitat is dirt. So maybe if we can just dig this safe out of the wall, it was put there somehow by someone. So obviously it's not huge. Maybe we can just pull it out and using me or McCloud or, 2 or 3 of us, we can pull it out and carry it to somewhere where we can bust it open.
Yeah, that's just going to be more noticeable than if we were able to get in there and get it open, because he will probably immediately notice whenever he goes home that the safe is missing.
Of course.
He may not know it's been broken into until the next hunt. So
could the heal check be done to restore my wits from 0 to 1, or is it literally only through sleep? Because just looking in the actual,
you can do a heal test to just restore broken from anything.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean one is better than 0 if we want to try the first angle.
Okay.
I think I might be able to help you. Let me see something real quick.
You ready to roll? Do you want to push that, Ashley?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. So yeah, you can get 1 back. There, Chai. And you are no longer broken via wits.
I have to look up what cats have to do.
You can be our cat burglar.
I think it's grooming.
That's what I thought. It's just cleaning myself. Right. While sitting in the corner with my leg up, just staring intensely at you as I clean my feet.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Does healing potions only heal strength damage, or does that heal everything?
She can make whatever she wants.
Freddie has some healing potions.
I just meant healing potions in general. Does that go towards anything? Or no? Or is that strength?
I can't remember if they have different names, but when she makes them, she has to designate whether they're for strength, for fatigue, for so whatever they were.
Those ones were for strength that I gave you. Okay.
Well, there goes my idea. What do you guys think?
What do you need fixed?
I'm full on everything. I'm fine to do whatever we need to do. We just need to figure out how to check out what's in the safe.
So I thought all that healing done was to get Chai in there.
Yeah, if we can get Chai. If you can scavenge for a safe cracking kit or a stethoscope or whatever Jeff and whatever he and Jeff want to decide on.
I was thinking just like a glass cup. Just put the cup up to it and listen through it. All right, I'll scavenge for a listening device to hear the pins or the lock.
First, he would probably need to roll a comprehend check to understand what the object is.
What kind of safe is.
We all know it's a safe, right? So,
assuming. Yeah, we're assuming it's some sort of lockbox. We don't know if it needs a key. We don't know if it's a combination. All I felt was a locked handle. So we'll probably need to get in there first.
Yeah, get in there first. You'll roll a comprehend check, and then we'll worry about scavenging. Why are you rolling hunt? What's going on?
What are you
getting some water?
Random hunt roll.
Getting some water so that I can
okay.
Give it to Wiley.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we're gonna go back.
You head back over, and again, same thing as before. There's a group of people around the corner that are by a barrel with a fire in it, and they're drinking and laughing, and you can hear them. They're making sounds, and then back the other way is the main area, and then periodically someone might pass through, but no one's here. You peek inside. Doesn't look like anyone's in there. Who's going inside? Who's staying out and being?
I think Badger should stay outside because it's less conspicuous if we have like a cat and a dog and an iguana all hanging outside.
Sure.
I mean,
I'll be outside.
Chelios' habitat.
I'm a chameleon.
Okay, so
I
Derek.
could make those people uncomfortable if I just went and stand like next to them, like, hello, badgers.
Oh, we've heard about you. You're the one that killed that other cat, aren't you?
Hasn't gotten out of my habitat yet. Thank you very much.
Murder.
Rumor
I might have
spreads
killed my
fast.
sister. I might have killed my sister.
Okay, so Tchaikovsky's inside.
I'm gonna hang out outside, try and play a little defense.
Okay. Is anybody else going inside?
Don't they need your beef in there? Possibly, like your muscles.
They can always pull me inside, but
okay. Tchaikovsky, you go inside. You flip on the flashlight.
Yeah.
You flip on the flashlight. You go to where it was described, and you open up what looks to be like a broken down armoire, where like only the bottom is there. You open the doors, and there is this black, somewhat rusted metal box with a handle and some kind of spinny, shiny chrome thing on the front. Roll a comprehend test to decipher exactly what this is.
Please tell me it's a lunchbox.
Would you like to push that? You take a look at it. You're not entirely sure what it is. You don't actually know how to open it up. As you mess with the handle, mess with the spinny thingies, you can see there's a door. There's a door on the front. You can see like really heavy duty like metal hinges and things, but specifics of how to open up are lost on you. Meaning you probably wouldn't know that getting like stethoscope and listening for the tumblers, that's something you probably wouldn't know to do. But as you,
all right, I leave.
You can push it, and as you push it, it moves slightly. So it's definitely something that can be picked up and carried by somebody probably a little bit stronger than you, but it could be picked up and carried.
Yeah, I'm just going to close it back up the way it was and just leave.
Okay. So
as I see Chai walk out of the room, I'm going to say, how did it go?
It looks like a box. I don't know. It's a box that's made of metal.
All right, I'm just going to say this is fucking pointless, and I'm just going to walk in the room and...
Can anybody else with comprehend try this?
Anybody can attempt to comprehend what this thing is. Anybody can do it. It's not.
I have 3 wits.
If anybody wants to do it, just go
try it.
Okay.
Right, I'll go in and give it a whirl.
Okay, go in, grab the flashlight, take a look.
I'm going in with her, and I'm going to roll my comprehend as well.
Okay, put the light on. Both of you can do this.
Melissa.
Okay. So Hamill, somehow you know what this is. I don't know exactly how you know what this is, but you know what it is. Maybe you saw Hamilton messing with one of these at one point, but this is what's called a safe. And you know that little spinner thingy, what it does is you move it around, and there's little numbers in little notches, and that if you put it in the right order, the same 3 numbers in the right order, you spin it the proper way, it'll open up. Now, the problem is you don't know what those numbers are. And so that's always difficult. But you would also know there's 2 other ways that you can open it. One, you could potentially like listen really, really carefully to it and like listen for when the spins hit and click. The other thing is that you could probably just blow it open. Like if you blew it up or if you dropped it from somewhere really high, it would probably open as well. The danger,
so what would be
obviously,
the skill to try to actually open it?
If you want to try to open it, you would need to listen really, really carefully. I would probably do like a scout test, but heavily negatively modified if you don't have anything to listen for. So I'd say like a -2 mod. If you're like putting just your naked ear against it and listening for the clicks, you can roll a scout -2, and then all you're doing is like listening for when certain sounds come out.
Okay,
I'm gonna use the binoculars to give you like +3 mod.
I'm gonna assume Hamill told me what this was and kind of how it works.
She can do that actually because she has an extra success.
Chai wasn't able to figure out what it was, but he may mechanically be able to figure out.
Mechanically, according to the game, you have one extra success, which means you can teach one other person how this works. So who is it that you want to teach? Meaning you can tell stuff to other people, but it's a question of, can you teach it how it works?
Yeah. I want to bring Chai back in.
All right. Chai, you come back in. She explains it to you.
There's a fucking box. What do you want?
No, I've actually... Okay, so randomly, I actually saw this before. My brother had seen one, and he told me that this thing on the outside is a lock. And so there's numbers, and you've got to be able to figure out the numbers. So it makes noise, and maybe it makes a different noise if it's the right number. How do you think we should hear it? I can't really hear it that well.
Jeff, what are you rolling for?
Nothing.
You need something to listen with? I guess I'll scavenge for a listening device.
If you're rolling a sneak at all, I need you to tell me so I can respond.
I'm not rolling a sneak, actually.
Okay.
Just rolling danger dice.
Okay.
All right, I pull out a glass cup, and I'm like, just put that up against whatever you need to listen to, and put your ear up against that, and it'll amplify the sounds.
McCloud and Helena, outside. You can see that one of the Badger friends, pack mates of Chelios, is drunkenly stumbling down the hallway in your direction.
Hey,
Helena.
Hey.
Helena, now's your chance to shine.
Yep.
Get out of my way, puppy dog.
Yeah. Where's the
Helena
hurry?
walks up and she's got one of her final jars of alcohol. You look like you need another drink.
Do I?
Would you mind trying this and letting me know what you think?
I don't know. I was going to go sleep it off a bit. I think Chelios said I was drinking too much. I really think I should probably lie down. He says I got to stop embarrassing him now that he's an elder. So, no. Get out of my way, kitty cat. Roll a dominate. Roll a dominate.
Today, I'm a 5.
Okay, roll that dominate.
Should be a 1 because I'm here.
God. Is it just base or no mods?
You outnumber him because there's 2 of you out here now.
Yeah.
The other 3 are inside, so you get a +1 mod. What's your rank again? 5?
5.
You get a +1 mod from that. He's rank 4, so you can have +2 total.
Okay.
And he's drunk.
Oh God. Okay.
I'm not sure if that means
Why
it's good or
am
bad.
I
He might be an
He just
obstinate
like, it's fine.
I get
It
what?
had no effect.
All right. He's got that.
Now he's going to fight you.
And 3 base.
I roll to seduce.
Okay.
You're not a bard.
He doesn't do it, and he looks at you and he's like, all right, fine. Give me the damn thing. So, yeah. Takes it and starts. Ooh. All right, drink it. Here you go. And he gives you back whatever it was in, but then drops it before it kind of gets firmly in your grasp. All right, now get out of my way. I gotta go.
He needs to roll something about his
Farewell
to see if he
and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of
I
Spain.
think it's a D6. He needs to roll a D6 to see if he
Roll a 6.
Oh, God. He's dead.
What did he drink? Did he actually drink alcohol, or is it poison, or what's going on?
No, it's
an artery in his brain bursts.
His head's
collapses due to
his head
intracranial hemorrhage.
It's an aneurysm.
No, it's the one that gives fatigue.
Oh, okay. All right. So he took fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
6
All right.
fatigue points.
So he took 6 fatigue.
Yeah.
He just ragdolls onto the floor.
Get out of my way. And then his head just slams against the ground, and he is right there in the middle of the hallway, on the ground in the dirt.
I'll drag him in a bit so he's not.
You drag him inside? Okay. All right, done. Drag him inside, no problem. you guys see McCloud dragging in this badger that you would know when the two Badger tribe members. This here is Jaeger 68.
I like his name.
It's actually Jaeger, but Jaeger sounds cooler.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look at McCloud and I'm just gonna say, what the hell is this?
We had act fast. It was the only thing we could do.
Oh, I was like, we can. And then I'm just gonna say we need to get this safe open right now, or I'm about to pull it out of the wall.
Okay. Did you get you got your cup, and so someone's
Mhm.
trying to pick it. Who's doing this?
Yep.
I've got a 3 in scout and a 1 in wit, so basically I have 4, and then whatever the cup helps with. So if you've got more than that, Hamill, go for it.
If we're doing scout, I've got 5 total.
Okay.
It's
and
you.
then plus whatever for the cup.
I'll
How
give
much?
I'll give a +1 mod, and just make it so that you actually give you a +1
Yeah, I
mod.
just thrust the cup into your hands and like it's a box. Listen to the box and tell me what it says.
Okay.
It says click, click, click.
So
Or do we have to do it
Click,
3
boom.
times, one for each
So
tumbler?
you turn it and you get a click, and you keep turning it and you get a click, and you turn again and you screw it up, and you have to start all over. Takes a little bit longer than you wanted, but eventually you hear a 3rd click in a row, and you hit on the handle itself, and the handle suddenly goes down, and you're able to pull it out, and you hear, and inside you can see there is a metallic cube with a red button.
I will grab
Press
it.
Take it and get out.
I will-
Tchaikovsky's like,
Is there
the
anything
box
else,
actually
like-
said something.
split second. Is there anything else?
There's some magazines in here.
Can I look for something in my trench coat pockets to just put in there that resembles this cube, and then so we can lock the safe back up so there's not immediate suspicion?
Sure, you go. I won't even make you roll. You just find something that's relatively the
As we
shape.
pick up the remote, the bottom of the safe just sinks down a little bit, and then a boulder starts rolling down the hallway towards us.
All right, you end up.
Okay.
You
So I'll do a
switch it out.
switcheroo, close it, spin it.
Okay,
Let's go.
you step
It's
out.
time to leave.
All right, you run away, and what do you do now? At this point, it's
before
maybe
we
5
leave-
o'clock or so.
Before we leave, I'm gonna put a blanket over Jagger and kind of tuck him in a little bit and
Aw,
make him look like that he went into the little hole by himself and
Okay.
tucked himself in.
yeah. There's like a little sleeping bag thing that you kind of nestle him into. Okay, works. Very nice.
Instead of-
As we're walking out of this hallway or the safe area, Chai's going to say to Hamill, "Should we show this thing to the kid and see if that's what Mr. Fancy Pants was using? Is this even what is this the right thing?"
I mean, obviously. Let's go.
I think he's. I don't know that we want to tell him that we took it. I don't trust that he wouldn't squeal. So I think we don't want to put him in that position of if he's asked, he's got to lie. So we'll just
all right.
assume.
Okay, so what do you guys do with it? The whole elder assembly is there, kind of eating at the big old table. Families and packs are kind of doing
Guys.
the same thing that Hamill did to like load up their youngins for their trips.
I do have a microphone. I could make quite the grand gesture in front of everyone.
Oh, that-
Give it to the young
Sounds
one. He
amazing.
seems to have a fire up his ass.
Just perhaps us outsiders should be away from here before this occurs.
Do we
Um,
really want to do this like big style, or do we just want to give it to Iserman?
Oh, I want to make this big.
Chai is going to
This-
go and polish
I
his
just want
wagon.
you to know that the person I hate is Chelios.
Yep.
Everything I've done up to this point is to spite him, and my biggest dream is to become the most fearsome fighter in Paradise Valley. Now's my opportunity. We have
Alright.
proof. I'm gonna get up on a table and I'm gonna call his bitch ass out.
Okay,
Oh my.
So
To
you guys-
clarify, I'm admiring from afar.
Yeah, Tchaikovsky's
Do we-
polishing his wagon far away as well.
I think I'll let you
Polishing his
know
wagon.
when we encountered Jaeger in the hallway. He said Chelios was an elder. That's what came out.
he was made elder, I believe, like 2 episodes
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, okay.
he took over Gretzky's-
Episodes.
I think there will be.
Took over Gretzky's-
Son, what the hell are episodes?
I think there will be sufficient caution that it might be better for the elders to take care of this themselves, that we give them the evidence and they take the appropriate steps. This could seem as if your vendetta against him is kind of clouding everything and could lessen the impact.
Possibly,
That
but
would be Hamill's perspective. So maybe this isn't the best way to do it.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but according to the lore of Paradise Valley, youngsters are typically the ones that hate watchers, and the elders tend to respect them because our ideals of what should happen are
okay.
different.
Before you play this out, do you want to let that Jerome guy know, or that we talked to earlier? What was his name? Gerald
Gretzky?
What?
Wait,
The elder?
Hold on. Which
Gretzky.
The coughing, dying
Oh,
elder.
yeah, the coughing bag elder.
Yeah,
Does he
that's
want to know
Gretzky.
first, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, I think we should talk to him. But I have a fire burning in my soul right now.
Right, you're gonna do this anyways. I'm just saying,
That's
you wanted to let him
totally
know,
fair.
like
Okay.
before.
But yeah, I'll kind of just read you a brief little blurb. According to traditions, all the tribes, blah 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 blah, watchers subject you to are opportunities for you to show your worthiness in the eyes of humankind, and only when you do so will the humans return you and set you free. This is what the eldest say that the watchers do as deputies of humankind. But as youngsters and members of the resistance, you don't believe these old truths, and you claim that you must fight the watchers to gain your freedom by force. That's just kind of the blanket lore behind the resistance.
All right,
So I don't know if we're going to get the elders on our side.
All right, before you go up on this podium and pronounce that you have this magical button that'll call, do you want to be like a sort of bluff holding it and have me like in the shadows have it, or do you just want to show it off?
Yeah, I guess we don't have to show all of our cards beforehand. Yeah, let's just meet with Gretzky first. It's only going to take a few minutes. It's not like Jeff's going to burn the world down in the next 5 minutes while we're talking to Gretzky.
You guys step out of the shop and everything's ash.
There's just watchers everywhere. Just picking up the button called them in.
You go inside. Gretzky's there. You show him and he is excited as all get out at this. Like, finally we can take him down. Yes, this will certainly convince anyone with a decent mind and rational thought amongst them. Of course, I imagine his badgers will side with him, but if you can convince the Martins and the Weasels, this will certainly do it.
All right, so I have the one who I most respect's blessing. I'm just gonna kind of let everyone know my plan, and I'm gonna go out there, and if everything turns to blood, then everything turns to blood, and this is my role of the resistance.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you guys want to back me up, then
Yeah, I'm gonna back you up by just that suggestion I made earlier. If you want to reveal it already.
I'll give you one healing potion now, and then the button.
How many potions do you have?
I have 2 total, so I'm giving you one of mine.
Hey, Jeff. While they're talking to Gretzky, can I barter with somebody the generic plating that I got to get some more arrows and possibly rations?
Yeah, no problem.
How much would that fetch, since it's a heavy item?
Why don't you... We'll see. Why don't you roll... This is just to see how much you get, as opposed to whether you can do it or not. Just roll a dominate check.
Okay.
As you're trying to make a good bargain. Like, buy this. Okay.
I'll see if Chai can replicate this button in any way also.
You can get...
He just has a roll of tinfoil and a cherry in his cart. Bundles up all the tinfoil and slaps a cherry on it.
You can get 4 high quality arrows back. All right. Cool. So you head out to the dining hall. You're hopping on a table.
Yep, I'm going to put my mask on. So everyone kind of identifies me by my Jason mask. And I'm going to, everyone's kind of talking still, I'm kind of like stepping up onto this table. They don't necessarily, they may just think I'm playing around. And then I'm going to take out my megaphone. It's going to let out that kind of, when it turns on, that really high-pitched screeching sound. And everyone's going to kind of look at me. And then, I guess we'll just do this. So
Iserman's like, what is the meaning of that racket?
We have a traitor amongst us.
Don't hold it so close.
One of us claims to be for the Badger tribe while helping the Watchers day after day. We have one, a newbie amongst the elders, who claims to fight for us while fighting against us. him, and I'm just going to point to Chelios.
And Chelios is just kind of like leaning back, looking at you. Here we go again with this one. Does your jealousy and envy have no bounds, Cujo?
You claim to be for the Badgers, as a representation of us, as an elder, and yet day after day you go out claiming to be on hunts while working for the Watchers, doing their due diligence and bringing back what you call food for your tribe.
Is this not food that we eat? Is that not food that fills your bellies? And everyone's just like totally on his side, like, yeah, shut up. Think it's fun.
So at this point, I'm just going to say we have witnesses that say that you work with the Watchers, that you use their devices to do their bidding, and in return you get food.
Oh, this is no witnesses of something that doesn't even exist. You are ruining what is a very special day for all of the young Badgers and Martins and Weasels and yes, even Wolverines with your envious, selfish ways. Can we just continue?
I'm going to interrupt him. Chelios has a device that allows him to call the Watchers to him at any time. He can use this to gather food. He can use this to gather the Watchers against us as the Badgers or anyone else he deems fit. What type of Badger can we trust with that type of power?
The only one I see here with a device of the Watchers is you, Cujo. That wonderful magical device that projects your voice around the whole hollow. Who really is the one embracing the technology of our forebearers? It's you, sir. My fellow elders, Chief Eiserman, would say we put this man in chains and continue our celebration. And like a bunch of them are like, yes, of course. Yes, we should. And they're totally agreeing with him. Like all the Badgers are like, yes, for sure. And they're motioning, and you see like there's little troops of like Badgers coming up with like spears that are entering the hall.
I'm gonna call up Gretzky, McCloud, and the little Weasel that has his neck bound, who I can't remember the name of. Wiley off the top of my head. And I'm going to basically plead my case about how, we went out, investigated Chelios, saw that Wiley was basically turned over and, traded for food, how we, broke into Chelios's house and found this device, and if McCloud could present it.
So when you turn to Wiley, Wiley is like, yeah.
Now is the time to stand up for your tribe, basically.
Everyone's kind of looking at him. And Eiserman clears his throat. What did you see, Wiley? And I saw Chelios and a few of his pack. They were taking shamblers from a platform, and they were taking it back. And then I got captured, and they were pressing something, and the drones came down. And Chelios like, do we really need to hear the testimony of this little boy? He wanted to be part of the pack. We told him, no, he is.
And Hamill's going to interrupt and say, you tried to bring him with you. You kept trying to send him off so that he wouldn't see what happened.
I didn't want the boy to get hurt. Come on.
Everything should listen to what he says.
You see him, he's going to get hurt. He goes off on his own, and now he's ringed. He's more danger to himself if he's
just because he is a little one in the tribe does not mean that he knows things, and we should listen to our young ones who can tell us information that can keep us safe, because you are not keeping us safe.
And you,
the device
do you keep people safe, Hamill? Where is your brother this day? Why does he not join?
Episode.
No. Well, you didn't keep him safe either, because you got him taken.
I kept my brother safe, and you can see his brother, who is like right here. I keep my pack safe.
Well,
I am not the one who lost.
When you're in
members.
with the Watchers, you can keep you and yours safe. How do I know it's not your fault that my
What do you have against the
them.
glorious Watchers? And there's a bunch of elders who are just like, actually, yeah, that's right. We like elders. They give us food. They give us the safety of this.
You were admitting that you did not hunt these animals.
Of course I hunted them, but the valley itself is what the Watchers have given us.
We're gonna call out to the surrounding badger tribes and say, look at the food that you eat. You see no teeth marks, you see no claw marks, you see no the arrow sticks, nothing. You look at them and you see burn marks and mechanical damage to these animals. No badger could kill animals these way with the technology that we have. These animals this food was given to us by the Watchers, claimed to be hunted by Chelios.
Our hunting techniques are more advanced than the other packs. It's why we have been so successful.
Do not let your full bellies and your gratefulness for food cloud your thought. Has it not been suspicious, the frequency with which he has brought back food? We know it has been incredibly difficult for all of the rest of our hunters to be able to bring back food. Don't let the fact that he has brought food back to you cloud your ability to think about whether or not that is suspicious, that he has been so successful when others have not. And now we know the answer, and we know the reason why. It was not his skill. It has not been his skill all along. It's been his connections to the Watchers.
Iserman.
Helena's gonna try and instigate the crowd where she's at, and she's gonna whisper to somebody, and she goes, "Isn't it a little bizarre that you guys have this extra Watcher activity and suddenly no one else can hunt but only Chelios?"
And then someone's
Isn't that bizarre?
Some drunk guy's like, "Oh, that's right. And why we got all this extra activity and you're the only one gets out there? What's that supposed to be?" And Chelios is just, as I said, we are the bravest. We are the best. Whatever more there is to the conversation ends there. And Iserman's looks over at Hamill. Hamill, right?
Yes, sir.
Make a big show of saying all these negative things about the Watchers. What is your feeling towards them? You're bordering on blasphemy here, child. And you too, Cujo. I would suggest you temper your rhetoric, lest the Watchers hear us.
So we do fear the Watchers.
Of course, we should fear them. We should respect them. They have maintained the valley. We have vegetation. We have trees. We have animals to hunt. You look out the outer walls and you see nothing but desolation. We have paradise here. And Chelios like, thank you. Your wisdom, Chief Iserman, is unparalleled.
Hamill's going to pop up and say, as has been frequently pointed out and reminded to me, the salt in my wound of my loss of my brother, I do not think it is in any way inappropriate, the fact that I would want to kind of be looking into this. It's absolutely something that we all just live with, the fact that this just happens to members of our family, and we shouldn't, keep an eye out for what's going on, and, maybe try to prevent a loss of another brother or sister.
This is Iserman. Your brother has the honor of being taken to live with the Watchers, with our wonderful human saviors, the gods who have given us this fertile land. You should rejoice in that. And you hear murmurs of people agreeing, but then there's a bunch of people who are like, not sure.
Yeah. And Tchaikovsky's going to bark from the back, the back of the crowd. If it's not a big deal and it's an honor to be taken by these Watchers, why do we treat the what are they called? Not abominations.
Abominations, that's right.
Oh, why do we
ringed.
treat
Yeah.
why do we treat the ringed and the abomination with such inhumanity, or I don't know if inhumanity is the right word to use, but disdain and fear and mistrust? We basically leave them to fend for themselves when they have done nothing wrong.
Why are we letting this lizard, and this is Chelios, why is this lizard here, this reptile who we have been fighting against for generations? And you can see
I just point to my wagon and I'm like, you're welcome for the supplies, jackass.
And a lot of other badgers look back at this reptile and they're like, they suddenly bare their teeth at you.
I'm gonna pick back up again and say this is exactly what the Watchers want us to do. They want us to mingle and fight between races. They want conflict between us so we do not fight the common enemy, which is the Watchers themselves. This is not freedom. They do not give us freedom.
He speaks of fighting the Watchers. Did you hear this, my fellow badgers and Wolverines? What he speaks is treason.
The
I was
Watchers
going to try to elbow him a little bit, like, to stop when we might be a little ahead.
The Watchers are beatable. The Watchers can die. I have seen it. I have done it myself.
Gods, take this man, bind him, gag him, expel him from our habitat. And there's like a bunch of elders who have got up and are screaming like, kill him before he brings the wrath of the Watchers down upon us. And so you get surrounded at this point, and there's like a whole mess load of stuff.
Freaking had it. We got there, and then we just tipped over the other damn side.
So you are at this point, Cujo, you are surrounded by about 7 or 8 different badgers and wolverines, and all of them are holding these spears up towards you. And like they're shouting, Cujo, just come quietly, and we'll just take you to the edge, and you can go your way.
Is this how you want to live your lives? In constant fear of Chelios and the Watchers? That is no life for badgers.
We don't fear Chelios, but we don't say these. Don't make us do this. And they're all like,
just because
really
you
hesitant.
don't fear him doesn't mean you shouldn't fear him. You should fear him. He has a device that can call drones to him. You should absolutely fear him.
They talk about this device, yet obviously this is just imagination. We see no evidence of this. Just a scared little boy who wanted to be part of a pack that wouldn't take him. And now they slander our good names. And this envious sod who's angry with me because I took his best friend's position on the Elder Council. And he and her are flaming all of the anger of the Watchers as they speak resistance rhetoric all throughout the habitat. Do you want them to massacre as if we are rabbits for the slaughter?
Helena's going to instigate that guy that she talked to the other time and be like, so if he doesn't have this device, shouldn't he allow somebody to go check in his room and make sure it's not there anywhere? And that would clear him up very quickly.
The assembly, can't we just look at his place and on his things, and if he's got it, then we know they're telling the truth. But if they don't have it, then we know he's telling the truth and he don't have nothing.
But we have it. We have it.
I thought I had it, but maybe it's you who have been calling the Watchers all this time. I've had enough of this, Eiserman. And Eiserman's like, I'm afraid I must agree. This is, and you can see that he's torn.
Which of the two of you have it?
McCloud. So I'm like, go put it back in the room. Go put it back.
I mean,
he doesn't. Why do we have to break back in his room? I thought we would just hold it up and say, hey, we've got it.
I feel like it's a little suspicious that we have it, though.
Because we found it in his room. Why would you?
Well, so you could bring it up and be like, hey, I went in there and I found it.
No. In his speech, I thought we said we found it in his safe.
Yeah, we said that we broke into his place.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah.
I messed up.
I have had enough of this slander. Get them out of our habitat. And
so elbow McCloud. I'm gonna elbow McCloud.
Okay.
What? For what?
To show them the device. Like, they're clearly not going to do anything else unless we show them the device that we told them that we found in its place.
I thought we were keeping the fact that I had it hidden.
And so at this point, they're like, you're surrounded by more than you probably can handle, Cujo, and so they are trying
Bet me.
What's that?
Bet me.
Okay, I mean, they could. I'm pretty sure you're outnumbered, but there's like 7 or 8 of them around you right now, and you're on top of this table, and they're like, "Come with us, Cujo, or I'm afraid we have to kill you here. Just drop whatever device that is, and come quietly. Bring your friends. We'll escort you to the border of the habitat, and then you can go free and never return." And Iserman says, "And never return. You are henceforth from this day, exiled from the Badger tribe." And pointing at the 2 of you, "Both of you, away, and take the little one with you." So pointing at Wiley as well.
I'm not gonna fight back.
Okay. So then they begin. You can see as Cujo is flanked and escorted out of the dining hall, a bunch of others come up towards the rest of you and start doing the same thing.
Hamill's giving McCloud a totally dirty look. Like, are we really just?
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm confused too. I'm so confused as well.
Gretzky specifically said you need tangible proof, and I'm sitting here baffled why we are not showing this tangible proof.
No idea.
I don't know. My mindset, I think, I just thought like showing it makes no difference. I don't know.
But he opened with the fact that we broke into his place and found it. So
yeah, like the past
holding on to something that.
So at this point, all of
It's
you
too late, I
have
guess.
been surrounded, and you are being escorted out.
Hamill's going to try to go in McCloud's bag. Like, Hamill's going to try to find it. Like, if he's not going to do it.
Oh yeah, you can have it.
Okay.
I'll just hold it up.
So as you're walking out, you grab it, and you're at the very edge. Cujo has already been let out. Tchaikovsky has been let out. Helena is on her verge of being let out. You and McCloud are kind of like the last line. There's all sorts of there's arguing going on before, but like the outwardness of like the vehemence that you had against the Watchers is certainly like scared the moderates right to the side of the conservatives, so to speak. At this point, in the lack of evidence being shown. So do you do anything? Last chance, or you're out?
I'm gonna grab the device from McCloud.
Okay. And I've said you've already done it. What are you gonna do?
So I'm gonna hold it up and say, "This is a device that we found." As
you gotta do something more than this. You gotta do more.
And so I'll hold it up and say, "So this is the device that we found in his room."
You don't have any time for speeches anymore. You're literally being pushed out.
If anyone thinks this isn't a problem, I will push the button now.
No one can hear you. Everyone's arguing and shouting, and people are spitting at you and throwing things at you. No one's listening to you. You don't have a megaphone. You can't. Yeah, you just no. Like you're gone. If
push
you want,
the button.
I'll push the button.
Okay. So as you push the button, you can feel a vibration.
And I'm holding it up so that people can see that I'm pushing the button.
You're also really tiny, and so no one really can see you. And so you're holding this up, other than like the guards around you, and you're pressing the button. You can feel it kind of vibrate in your hand a bit, and like you're kind of pushing past. And all of a sudden, within 30 seconds, you see suddenly like a fleet of drones begin to sweep down. And there's like a good 6 or 7 of them to just suddenly come up out of the air, the clouded air, just sweep down. And you can hear.
Did you say they took my megaphone from me?
You can keep it if you want. But what's going to happen is they're going to sweep down, and all of a sudden, everyone in this dining hall begins to panic in great fear, and that's where we're going to end this up because we're past 6:30 and we're ending on that cliffhanger. All right. So that was fun. Let's do.
We were on such a roll, and then suddenly I'm
I kept waiting.
Doing?
Like I kept waiting.
Me too. Like I try not to do too much meta priming, but I'm just like, show the fucking button.
Show the literal piece of notice. All right. XP. Everyone gets 1 for participating. Sacrificing. I'll give for your tribe. I'll give 1 to Cujo and Hamill for that. Sacrifice something for the resistance. I mean, you guys outwardly talked about the resistance, so I'll give it for you that too. PC buddies, did you guys risk anything for PC buddies?
Yeah, I went to rescue Cujo.
Okay, so you take an extra. Sacrifice or risk something for the NPC you want to keep safe.
I just stole from Chai to try to give the little thing to.
I'll say
Wiley.
Definitely Cujo did. Like standing up like that is definitely risking to try to like reinstate Gretzky or something like that. NPC you hate, yes, for sure. You guys both get that.
That's 5 XP in one session.
Yeah. I mean, it was a Badger focused focus. This is the benefit of going to like your specific places that you guys can do that. All right. So like, I think the two of you get 5. I think McCloud, you're getting 2. And I think Helena, Tchaikovsky, you both get 2 because I give you 1 for resistance. And then McCloud, you can take 1 for, everyone can get basically +1 from risking something for the resistance for that. Because you guys were all like risking something near the Watchers and stuff. So 2 for Helena, 3 for McCloud, 5 for Cujo and Hamill, and 2 for Tchaikovsky. All right.
Hamill was my buddy, and would you say me going to help her buddy is an assisting of her, or no?
No, I don't think so.
If you say no, that's fair.
You
Okay.
you got the risking XP. I think the last session for like healing her and pulling her out. So, okay. All right. So hopefully we'll play against you. We'll post probably on Twitter or something if we're playing next week. Not sure because I think Logan's schedule doesn't fit, but we'll figure something out.
Shit.
Yeah. And it would suck to like play the rest of this without Logan. So I don't know if we really want to play next week. So maybe we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do another heart session. That was pretty fun. But that's about it. So thanks for those of you who hung out, gave bits. Thanks for those of you who are watching this later on VOD or on YouTube. Watch us on Monday for our heart game at 7 Pacific. And yeah, we'll catch you later.
Good night.